Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch.
Hey, y'all. I was like, wait, what's going on? What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Chris Avalon, and welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. For show where we basically talk about all things going on in pop culture and hot topics. So that's the show for you. Definitely stick around because we got a lot of tea to spill, including why Jenna Ortega, because she finally coming out. Not of the closet, but she coming out and finally admitting why she exited Scream 7. So we got to get into that. Plus, People Magazine got the official scoop. They've done leaked the pictures of, well, it's a first look at I Know What You Did Last Summer, the reboot that's coming out in July. So we're going to get into that. Plus, Madonna, we got some Madonna and Sir Elton John news. Apparently, they buried the hatchet. We'll talk a little bit about that, her post, his post, that and all of that goes on with that. Also, we got to get into this debate. Because believe me, it's a debate. Apparently, Nicki Minaj has been named the greatest female rapper of all time. So we're going to get into that list and the people, what they had to say on the matter. So we'll get into that. Plus, we got to talk about the aftermath of this episode of The Real Housewives of Atlanta with Kenya Moore with that RP. That's what some people are calling it. The photos of Miss Brittany, Edie. So we got to get into that because apparently she went and threw shade at Cynthia Bailey, because we talked about Cynthia in the last show where Cynthia was weighing in on the aftermath of what happened. So Kenya has responded. She also responded at some co-host that was over there on Radio Andy with Andy Cohen. Like he was having, I don't know, I guess he does a show with a multitude of people, like a little view type panel type podcast, whatever. And they weighed in. Kenya didn't like what they said. We got her post. We'll talk about it. Plus, so I got all the receipts on that. Plus, we got to talk about Miss Jennifer Lopez because, as if we don't have enough people going on tour right now, she decided to announce that she too is going on tour. So we got to talk about that after. And remember what had happened the last time when she went on tour. I guess maybe she's expecting a little something differently now that it's been, 2 years? So we'll get into that. Plus, there's rumors swirling that Sunny Hostin is being groomed to replace Whoopi over at The View as their new moderator. Speaking of Andy Cohen, apparently Nutman McCain went and wrote herself an op-ed over there on at the New York Post, which is a conservative, Republican-leaning tabloid piece of shit fluff paper. Oh my God, 2 minutes and I'm already cursing. I was like, wait until the algorithm does its thing first. Anyway, so she wrote a little something over there, and now she's saying that Andy might be her former friend after them two got into it over her opinion on trans athletes. So we're going to get into that. Plus, there's a story going around, courtesy of Out, that Lee Daniels is working on a T.S. Madison biographical series. We'll get into that and a whole lot more. There wasn't really a lot going on today, which was good, but it was just a lot of frustration and stuff going around trying to put the show together. I just think my brain was just all over the place, but nevertheless, I stitched something together. We made it work. Got like 9 topics, which the show might go by pretty quick today, but yeah. So there's that. But before we get to the topics at hand, excuse me, I was drinking soda, so now I'm feeling a little gassy. If you could please do me a solid and hit that like button and that subscribe button. Also be sure to smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. And also right after the live, I will be putting in timestamps so that way for those who watch the playback, if you don't want to go through the regular banter that we do during the live stream, you could definitely just click over, to whichever topic that you want to actually peruse. Okay, so now let me hit my banner. And as we got a comment, I'll get to that right after we do the first topic. So without further ado, let's get into this Jenna Ortega story. So yesterday, I don't forget where I was going. I think I was on my way to work actually. And I had saw this story I was on my way to the gym. That's where I was going. I was on my way to. So I was on my way to the gym, and then I saw that the story dropped about Jenna Ortega and Melissa Barrera. So of course I had to go and read the article, and was like, because they were saying that she's finally coming out and revealing. I guess she has. I mean, does Jenna? Oh yeah. I was like, does she have anything to promote? I know she did that movie with the unicorn. I don't know how well. I mean, I don't know how well it's doing at the box. I can't say I don't know how well how it did at the box office, because when we did the box office talk, what was it last week? I mean, when we did the Snow White thing, I talked about like how well it did or whatever the case is. I know it's, what is it, like an A24 movie, so it's gonna be like a small little independent film. It's probably gonna make a little coin. It'll probably do better on streaming or when you digital rent it or whatever. But nevertheless, I don't know if that was around the time when she was promoting that or what that was for, if that was for that reason. But she decided to share why she declined to return to Scream 7. Because a lot of people were assuming that it had to do with, oh, she's standing in solidarity with Melissa Barrera. That was some of the rumors that was going on. She tried to put out some diplomatic thing and say that it was scheduling conflicts. And y'all know when I've been doing this show and we've been covering Scream 7 consistently, since all the drama was going on and since it was announced that Nev Campbell was coming back along with all the other plethora of people that we were, because I was giving y'all constant Scream updates. I never truly believed that that was the reason why she was stepping down from the franchise. The scheduling conflicts, I'm like, yeah, scheduling conflicts, don't get me wrong, happens all the time. There's always ways you got to get around it. There's the rumor that's going around about that new movie, Havoc, that's coming out on Netflix that I really want to see. It's from the director of The Raid and The Raid 2, and Tom Hardy starring in it. They said that that movie has been like back and forth for 4 years because Gareth, who is the director, was trying to get all the people back and was scheduling conflicts and all other stuff. So, yeah. So, that makes sense if that was the reason. We'll go along with that because he said that with his film, that it was, we put it on pause and it was shelved because the movie, we needed more time to do reshoots, but everybody's schedule was crazy, including Tom Hardy. So we were able to work around that. This whole situation with Jenna Ortega, I never truly believed that that was the real reason. And so now that everything is going around because they said, you know, it had to do with the pro-Palestine media post that Melissa Barrera had posted. Ortega is now revealing in the cut what the real reasons were. She said it had nothing to do with pay or schedule. So now she tells the truth. And this is why I say when people lie, that's why I don't like to lie, because it's hard to keep up with the lie. Like that, there was one time you could slip on, but well, wait a minute. And if somebody got that good memory, but wait a minute, but you said, and it was like, oh wait, and now you busted. So now they said that she pointed out that not only was the film going forward without Barrera, who played an on-screen sister in Scream and Scream 6, before being fired from the franchise. She said that she left the series because Tyler Gillett and Matt Bettinelli open. That's a mouthful. Matt Bettinelli open. I was like, how many you gotta do all of this with your mouth to even get all the vowels up. But anyway, so she said they weren't coming back, so that's why she didn't come back. So she said the Melissa stuff was happening and it was all kind of falling apart. If Scream 7 wasn't going to be with that team of directors and those people I fell in love with, then it didn't seem like the right move for me in my career at the time. Now, the death of a unicorn actress who was known for roles in Wednesday and Beetlejuice also expressed an interest in stepping back from IP filmmaking, saying, I've happened to join a lot of franchises, which is so great to be part of a legacy. But for me, I'm really trying to prioritize new directors and original stories. I know on the outside, maybe people are looking at my choices like, man, what the hell is this girl doing? I never thought I would do a movie with unicorns, but an original script is exciting. If I can help get it made, I love to do that. Well, that makes a whole lot of sense. It's like, you know what? Jenna wants to, she's kind of like that girl at that point where she's like, I want to actually challenge myself and work with directors. You know who's starting to do that right now? Matt Damon. But I guess because he's paid his dues and he is where he is because, you know, he's spent a lot of years on the grind and stuff. Now he said he's at a place where I just want to work with some of the best directors. It's not even about, you know, whether or not I need to, you know, get this notch on my belt or that notch. It's just I want to work with really good directors. Hence why he's working on this Odyssey movie with Christopher Nolan. And so I could definitely see why Jenna Ortega, who's at the height of her career, why she would choose these off-kilter type films in these original scripts. Because everybody's out here saying, oh, they're doing is making superhero movies. All they're doing is remaking movies and sequels. And blah, blah, blah. I was like, there are a lot of movies out there that are original IPs. You just have to actually look for them and not just be focused on all the A-list pomp and circumstance. Stop focusing. I mean, don't get me wrong. I do want to see the Thunderbolts. But it's like, stop focusing on all they're doing is making a sequel to the Black Phone or Megan 2 or another Mission Impossible, or now we're getting, another superhero IP. It's like there are like really interesting original movies that's out there. And I've heard that while predictable, this Death of a Unicorn movie is actually pretty good. So I definitely want to check it out. Speaking of which, I didn't even know. Here's another original idea. I didn't even know Drop was coming out this week. I totally forgot until I started seeing a couple of YouTube pundits that I watch started doing out of the theater reactions. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. I totally forgot that Drop was coming out this week. So I need to get my ticket because I love me some Christopher Landon. I think a lot of the ideas that he comes up with are original. Speaking of original IPs, a lot of the movies he does is original. Freaky was an original idea. I mean, yeah, it's taken from Freaky Friday, but it's got a different twist to it. Then you have Happy Death Day, and then we had Happy Death Day 2, and now he's got Drop, which is another Christopher Landon movie. So it's just like there are a lot of great things out there. Now, in regards to this whole situation, I love you, Jenna Ortega. But I was watching something. I think I was on Twitter earlier because when I was working on the show, I happened to come across, there's some people that I follow. So Mike, when we watch a movie, hey Mike, he and I do talk and stuff whenever we're on social media. So he went and said something in a clip. I don't know if he actually did a YouTube video on it. I didn't see it, but I saw that he posted a clip, so it might be on his YouTube channel. He said something that made a whole lot of sense. Like, everybody up in here is getting all up in arms about Scream and justice for Melissa Barrett. And don't get me wrong, I'm here. I'm all pro-Palestine. If y'all see enough of my posts on social media, you know how I feel on this whole subject. However, when we look at it at the end of the day, compared to the many of Scream movies that have come out, especially with the legacy cast, like Nev Campbell, like Courtney Cox, like he's dead, but allegedly he's coming back for the new one, like David Arquette. When you look at the Carpenter sisters, where in that whole zeitgeist does Melissa Barrera or Jenna Ortega Scream stand out for y'all? Like, oh my God, we need another Scream movie with the Carpenter sisters in it. Like, I really feel like, regardless of radio silence or whether or not they're going to come back, they really brought nothing new to the table. Yeah, they tried different things. Yeah, they tried to steer Scream in a different direction. I like the idea of them putting Scream in an urban setting with Scream 6, but there were parts of Scream 6 that worked and parts of Scream 6 that did not work. Same thing with Scream 5. Scream 5, while it was like paying homage to the original Scream film, there were moments in there where it was just like, okay, and especially the weakest for me when it comes to radio silence in their Scream films is their third act. They have yet to write a good third act in that whole situation. So their third acts to me have always been pretty weak, especially in Scream 6. That whole third act irritates my damn spirit. Although I do like, some of the things that's in there. But there were just certain decisions and certain things that was going on. I'm like, okay, really? This is where we're going with this? So I'm really hoping and fingers crossed that Scream 7 is much better. But I feel like at the end of the day, whether or not Jenna Ortega or Melissa Barrera return or they don't return, I don't feel like they're going to shake things up or move the needle, whether or not they were there or they're not. Now, I think the rest of the story went on to say, because it goes in and it talks about all the stuff that happened, behind the, where all the mess and started going on. Where, Radio Silence apparently had to, where they stepped away from Scream so they could direct Melissa Barrera in Abigail, which did not do well at the box office. And Abigail was a good movie. I went to go see the film in the theaters, but where were y'all? A lot of you pro-Palestine people, where were y'all? I say that every time. And so then after that, in August, when the Radio Silence had to step down because they had another, scheduling conflicts, Christopher Landon stepped to the plate and was going to take over the movie. Then he started dealing with a lot of bullying from a lot of the fandom and all this other stuff. Where I will say this, maybe the thing that they brought to the franchise was a new generation of people. So they brought in like the Gen Zers and stuff. But then again, I felt like in a way, maybe I'm feeling a ways about this, the way that they handled it is because my generation, my generation, like us elder millennials, those of us on the cusp of Gen X, we on the border, we about to put one toe across the border of Gen X. we kind of felt like we was being cast aside. Kind of like how y'all cast aside Sydney and Gail and Dewey. Y'all just diluted them to bona fide cameos. And then they decided to give their core four members plot armor. But then you decide to kill off a beloved character? Like, where they do that at? So that's the overall irritation for me, because it felt like that Radio Silence was like, you know what? Fuck all the, the legacy characters. We want to use y'all as a way to bridge this gap and usher in this new generation, but we're not even going to kill off any of my people because we created these characters. But we have no problem making y'all disposable. But I think they knew better to try to go and try to kill off Sydney, because they already know Sydney is that girl, and the fans really would have rioted. Now, do I think with Scream 7 coming out that it may not make as much money as Scream 6 because we don't have Jenna Ortega, whose career was hot at the time? I don't know if Jenna Ortega is still, like, while she is taking chances and she's doing all these different films, is she a box office draw? Is she somebody that gets butts in seats? I don't know. I just feel like her star has kind of waned a little bit. I don't really hear people talking about Jenna Ortega like that. I just think people are just real, like the way, especially the way we treat celebrity these days. I just feel like people are real fickle, where it's like y'all love somebody 1 minute and then 5 minutes later, y'all done moved on to the next thing. So I don't know if Jenna Ortega is a box office draw. So yeah, they had all of that stuff, and then we're supposed to be getting Wednesday season 2, which I heard Lady Gaga's a part of. I'm interested to see what that season's all going to be about. Then y'all know Christopher Landon departed the movie because, people basically started bullying him. He said it was a dream job that turned into a nightmare, and I totally agree with that, because I feel like I would have loved to have seen Christopher Landon take on a Scream franchise. First of all, you have a homosexual going to come in and direct it, and also possibly write it. Well, he was writing it, I believe. And being that, of course, Kevin Williamson is an openly homosexual man. Yeah, he's a part of it. But then some people said that Kevin Williamson should have been the choice from the beginning. But I feel like y'all just went with, and as much as I love Kevin Williamson, I feel like y'all, that Radio Silence, that was a panic move. Y'all didn't have, I think everybody was getting too scared because all this pro-Palestine talk was a little too much. Y'all paid too much attention to what people are saying on social media and worried about getting bullied, that y'all just don't tune out the noise and just make the movie that you want to make. And whoever shows up to see it, they'll see it. If they don't, then oh well. Now, it'll be determined whether or not Scream 7 does well financially at the box office. And then I guess if it does, then it will prove like, okay, so regardless of all the stuff that people are saying, the real Scream fans will go up and will show up and see it. And then you'll have those people who were these pro-Palestine people that are against every little thing about Scream 7 and wanted to fail. I guarantee you, they're going to hate watch it. Trust and believe. Because y'all don't want to be left out of nothing. A lot of y'all like doing all this stuff because y'all want attention on social media. But she did tell a Hollywood reporter, well, Melissa Barrera did, that Ortega reached out to show support after she was fired over her social media post. So, at the end of the day, I'm glad that she said what she said. She told us what it was. I think in so many ways she didn't really say it, but I think she does stand in solidarity with Melissa Barrera. But she could just cloak it in. Well, the original people that I worked with are not coming back, so I don't want to be working on a franchise with some new people that I'm not familiar with. Because if Radio Silence and all these other people aren't coming back, then what's the point of me even being part of the whole situation? And no shade, but I feel like at the end of Scream 6, I feel like they wrapped up their characters in a way where it's just like, y'all left it open in the possibility if they ever want to come back. I don't know if they'll ever invite Melissa back, but they wrapped up Sam's story in a way where it's just like, okay, y'all can move on and you could bring in a whole new cast of kids to rejudge this franchise, which I wish they would have done rather than going back with the Neff Campbell thing. But because I'm a legacy Scream fan, if you want to get my butt back in the seat, then I'll say let's go with familiar territory and do the whole bring Neff Campbell back. Now she's got a family, and then that new generation of her children and their friends can be the catalyst of pushing this franchise forward, and then we can just stop with the whole Sydney stuff. Because how long are we gonna have Sydney getting chased by a damn serial killer? Like, it's getting a little stale after a while. But like I said, if you got a way to make it interesting, then I'll be there to watch it. So shout out to you, niece, for saying the quiet part out loud. But I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Do y'all believe Jenna Ortega in regards to what she had to say regarding why she left the Scream franchise? Because now she's speaking out. And we got to wait like a whole nother year for Scream 7 to come out in theaters. I was going to say, oh, Lord, I can't wait. But before you know it, you blink fast enough, it'll already be February of 2026 because the way these days be flying by. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. He said, I saw on Tori Spelling Instagram the Hub Pop. You want to know something? Oh, I didn't know she spoke to Jamie Kennedy. But that could be interesting if he was, because look, they bringing back Roman from Scream 3. They bringing back Stu from the first Scream. I don't know about Billy Loomis. I mean, we know he's been reduced to being a Force ghost in the last two movies. They made a hell of a lot of announcements in regards to people that's coming back. So I would not be surprised. You think they will bring back Timothy Olyphant as Mickey, the freaky Tarantino film student, or even Billy's mother? I don't know if they'll go that way. But you said that unicorn movie, you heard it's a flop. That'll be interesting. I mean, but here's the thing: if Jamie Kennedy was to come back in some sort of capacity, that would make perfect sense why they would bring back the Meeks Martin twins. So, and I like the idea of the core 4, but we're not going to have them anyway. So we're going to only have the core 2. Did she decline it? That's a good question. Or you said, did she drop out? Are you talking about Jenna Ortega? Well, she's saying that she didn't come back because of, the whole situation. I don't even know. I mean, was she contractually? I wonder if she was contractually obligated. I don't think they were. I think they were supposed to sign on to do the movie. I think they probably only signed on for 2 films, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, that would be an interesting question to know. But anyway, all right, speaking of horror movies, let's get into this story. So apparently today, and I wasn't expecting that to happen, I Know What You Did Last Summer. They leaked some photos, courtesy of People, some exclusive photos of what we could expect from the I Knew What You Did Last Summer movie, which is supposed to be coming out in July. And I'm actually excited to see this film. I'm looking forward to a trailer, which means that they should be giving us one any day now. And look, Jennifer Lopez, but Jennifer Love Hewitt looks good here. I don't know. Why is she giving me? What was that show that she was on where she played the hooker, the client list? She's giving me the client list tease here. But I'm glad that they put them extensions in her hair because I'm like, yeah, but she be looking kind of rough when she be playing Maddie on 911. But here she look good. And this is her when she was younger. So Jennifer Love Hewitt still got it. But I love the brown. So they said it's been many summers since Jennifer Love Hewitt played Julie James, the good-hearted final girl who can't escape her past in the 1997 slasher I Know What You Did Last Summer. Revisiting one of her earliest and most iconic roles for the upcoming sequel, not a reboot, was, as she said, very nerve-wracking. Well, yeah, it's a direct... But the question remains is, what is it a direct sequel of? Is it a direct sequel to I Still Know What You Did Last Summer? Or is it a direct sequel to I Know What You Did Last Summer? Because... But I'm guessing it has to be the second one because the director of the film, I could have sworn she said that Carla being a part of the franchise is canon, which had everybody all excited and thinking that maybe we can get a Brandy cameo up in here. So Jennifer went on and said, I'll be super honest. I had total anxiety for 48 hours before filming because I was like, can I do this? Am I going to pull this off? It's a lot of pressure. Hewitt, who's now 46, filmed the original I Know What You Did Last Summer shortly after turning 18, sharing scenes with Freddie Prinze Jr., Sarah Michelle Gellar, and Ryan Phillippe. She and Prinze, who's now 49, reprised their roles to shepherd a new generation of horror screen queens and kings. They also returned for the sequel, I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, which released in 1998. That fresh ensemble consists of Chase Sui Wonders, Madeline Klein, Sarah Pigeon, Jonah Our King, and Tariq Withers. So that's one of the pictures. And I was looking at Fred. I said, okay, Freddie, come on, Scruff Daddy, with that gray beard. He looking good too. You know? And so we got Freddie Prinze Jr. there, looking like a snack. You know what? Shout out to Sarah Michelle Gellar. She got a good one right there. And then these are the kids who were caught up in yet another accident, a terrible, horrible accident. Run, get the first aid kit. Apply a tourniquet. Y'all don't know. If y'all don't know that song, y'all definitely need to listen to that iconic bitch track. But anyway, so they said that. So she says about the cast that the cast is phenomenal. And she said that it felt like she was passing a baton. She said it's for them to make it their own and for me to stand by like a proud mom and say, it's yours now, take it and run and enjoy. Now, a synopsis for the new film sets the stage for 5 friends inadvertently causing a deadly car accident and covering it up by making a pact to take the secret to the grave. A year later, someone seeks revenge while making it clear they know what they did last summer. Sound familiar? The newbies, though, learned this happened before and consult 2 survivors of the Southport Massacre of 1997 for help. So, yeah, so now they got to go and find people who got caught up in the situation damn near, what was it, 30 years ago? And I'm like, damn, time flies. Because it was like 97. And we in, let's see, what year we in? It was 28 years ago, I guess we could call it. Because we're in 2025, 28 years. And I'm like, 28 years later, oh my God, we got a movie called 28 Years Later coming out this year. And this happened 28 years ago. There's something in the water, apparently, which is 28. So now Wonders, who's 28, said the film gets scary, sexy, and campy as it leans into how young people are interacting with each other in the world today in the smartest and most satisfying way. Saying when you get a group of young actors together, it could be a recipe for disaster oftentimes. Don't I know it? But everyone in this cast just brought it to the nth degree. Excuse me. We got along so well. The chemistry between us was so fun and natural and seamless. The cast did game nights, bar crawls, and attended concerts together between filming on location in Australia, she adds. Writer-director Jennifer Caden Robinson says that they set out for balls to the wall fun in this modernized version, which embraces the absurdities. Saying it's not a serious movie. It's a really fun popcorn summer event. She warns, though the horror elements are ratcheted up to 100 in this, is much more brutal. So there's definitely more methodology into every kill in this movie, unlike the first, which is kind of just him stalking them and going after them. There's a lot of gore or blood and violence in the first one. There's not a lot of gore or blood and violence in the first one. There certainly is in this one. Well, here's the thing. And I was going to say that, you know what, as much as I love I Know What You Did Last Summer, no shade, but I'm more or less a Scream fan than I Know What You Did Last Summer fan. And I think the reason why is because of exactly what the director said. There wasn't a lot of gore in the first movie. There wasn't a lot of violence in the first movie. I mean, there were kills. We got to see the kills. And I always say the highlight for me in the film was always Helen's death scene, which went on for like a good 10 minutes. Because it was like different stages. In the back of the police car, she had to break the window and climb out and then ran to the store, the Shiver store. Then her sister gets murdered. Then she's trying to get away from the damn killer in his little raincoat and his hook. And then she's running and she had to jump out the thing and then, damn near die, jumping 2 stories down to the ground, and then had to run through the alley and then her dumb ass stopped. I love you, Sarah, but you was dumb for stopping. And then she gets all stabbed up while the band goes by. So that was like the most iconic scene in that whole movie. And I always feel like, yeah, in this day and age, these kids, when you come in and doing horror, we want to see the blood, we want to see the gore, we want to see people get, in the words of Jada Pinkett Smith in Scream 2, shut the fuck up, okay? So that's what we need in this film. So hopefully and I like the fact that she also said they're going to lean into the absurdity of the I Know What You Did Last Summer films. Because let's be honest, I Know What You Did Last Summer, it definitely is kind of like campy and silly in a lot of the way that it handled itself. I think the problem with I Know What You Did Last Summer, particularly the first one, it took itself a little too seriously. And it was kind of looking at it like, yeah, it's a little cheesy. Like you can see the cheese, but it feels like they lean a little too much into the cheese, but the cheese was bad. And I still know what you did last summer. But hopefully, the way she's talking is that they've been able to find that balance of the overall tone of what I Know What You Did Last Summer franchise is. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing this movie. And what I'm actually at this point looking forward to is all we need now is a trailer, because y'all can say a whole bunch of stuff and be like, yeah. But if we watch the movie and I'm like, okay, really? Because I did hear that, when I believe they showed footage at CinemaCon, and I believe, excuse me, based off of some of the footage at CinemaCon, they were saying it was like, yeah, it's kind of got the I Know What You Did Last Summer isms, but it looks like a bunch of fun. And if it's, and every horror movie, I don't want to be grossed out. I don't want to have I don't want everything don't have to be Terrifier. Like if I can go and see a good slasher film that's fun also, then I want to see those too. I like when it's a little, a little wink wink and a little cheesy, and it's like it's got a little comedy rooted in there where it's not just like, oh my God, I'm grossed out, I'm uncomfortable. It's like I gotta get in the mood for those type of films. Like is what I'm hearing about that Weapons movie that Zach Cregger has coming out later on this year, because it was supposed to come out in 2026, but they moved it up until after like August or September of this year. But I'm hearing that movie is crazy. Versus where, I like my horror with a little comedy, because then it's not as, it's like an easier pill to swallow. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story based off of what the director said about the upcoming I Know What You Did Last Summer film? And I know like the poster, the pictures and everything doesn't really show much of anything, but at least we have an insight on what everybody looks like that's going to be in the film. So whatever your thoughts are on this matter, let me know what your comments are in the comments down below. I meant to say your thoughts are in the comments down below, but sometimes I get tongue-tied. Why do I feel Last Summer is going to treat the legacy stars more? You mean versus what Radio Silence did with the legacy characters in Scream? We here. I don't know if you sort of if you came in when I did the story earlier in regards of the Scream thing, but yeah, I kind of felt that too. That the way that Jennifer Love Hewitt is talking is like, yeah, we're using the legacy characters in a way that's respectable, and we're giving them something to do, but it's a way to pass the torch. And not just have y'all come in and be background decorations, but we just we'll go and we'll kill off Ray, or we'll kill off Julie, or whatever the case is. It'll probably be like a moment. You know what it was kind of like reminding me of? I'm like, what if they kind of take a page out of the first I Know What You Did Last Summer and kind of go like the Anne Heche route with Julie and Ray, where it's like, oh, well, we need to find out some backstory, whatever happened, or this has happened before, and we're trying to get away, and the man's killing us, and we can't really tell nobody. But there was a story that came out 28 years ago about survivors of a massacre, similar to what we're dealing with, and now we have to go visit them. And so it kind of goes into that whole Anne Heche, when she was in the first one, type of territory. When they found out about Billy Egan and that whole drama, I'm surprised I remember that name. That was the man that what's the name killed, and then he was trying to get rid of the body, but then that's when they hit him. That is true. She do look that. Yeah, she was giving me Ghost Whisperer with that look. The hair was looking good when she had the bob. Yeah, I don't like the bob. I felt like the bob that she had the bob on 911. I didn't like that look. It did make her look older, so I agree. Magical Mermaid is in the building. No, I have not watched any of the Hollywood Demon stuff. I've just been, y'all know I've been busy. It's like by the time I got home yesterday, I put on the TV and the TV was watching me. Literally. That's how exhausted I've been lately. And so I'm going to definitely try to get around to them, because I haven't even seen any of them. I definitely need to watch the one with the Power Rangers. I know the one with the Housewives is coming up next week. So I definitely got to catch that. There's a lot of stuff I got to catch up on. And I need to binge watch yet again. I got to finish the season of The Last of Us, because the new season starts next Sunday. So, and y'all know I've kind of been in denial that the first season ended, because I haven't finished it. So I'm like, I want to wait until I'm going to wait until around the new season starts, so that way I'm going to just refresh my memory. So now I got to go and watch the original show again. I watched Madeline Klein on this Netflix show. I've heard so many great things that Madeline, I've heard so many great things about Outer Banks. I still haven't watched that show. Yeah, but everybody, that brings up Outer Banks says it's good. I still know 28 years later, make Jennifer the vehicle victim. Can you imagine? It's like, yeah, we hit somebody. We hit Julie James. I'm like, damn, that's the way she goes out. Carrie was the best teen horror movie of all time to me. Well, obviously you mean the one with Sissy Spacek, right? Well, look, the word on the curb is we are supposed to be getting a Carrie TV series that's done by, oh my God, I forgot. I was trying to remember his name. He did that, the house, what is it? The House on Haunted Hill that was on Netflix. He's supposed to be doing the show. And they keep saying the rumor is the little girl that lost her head in Hereditary is supposed to be playing Carrie. And I was like, that would actually work because the way she kind of resembles, she gives me very much Carrie in the books. Sissy Spacek is not Carrie from the books. Carrie from the books is a little, I don't want to say, but she looked a little special. Outer Banks is a good show. Acting isn't that good compared to what you probably watch, but it's teen TV. Look, trust and believe, I watch things with bad acting. Child, I'll be over here watching Beyond the Gates. They're not giving Oscar-worthy acting over there. I mean, unless you Tamara Tooney, yes. But some of them on that show, I'm like, did y'all go to like the Tyler Perry School of Acting? Because y'all are not really delivering what needs to be delivered. And that's no shade. I'm just like, you're acting a little rough, but thank God you cute. It's not rocket science to be over there they're not expecting y'all to be winning like, Academy Awards, although TV doesn't give Academy Awards. But anyway. All right, y'all, let's get into this Madonna story. Because yesterday, child, I thought hell done froze over. Because apparently now, Madonna, aka the Queen of Pop, I don't give a good goddamn what Lizzo says, and the other Queen of Pop, or I should say the other Queen, Elton John, apparently they kissed and made up. So now, after a bitter, decades-long, and largely one-sided feud, the Queen of Pop announced in a Monday Instagram post that she has finally buried the hatchet with the Rocket Man. And hold on, because let me pull up her actual post that she posted on her Instagram. Child, the face card, check. Lip filler, check. Elton John, I like the glasses. I like the New York jacket, the bomber jacket that she has on too. That's cute. So yeah, it's a bit lengthy. So here's what she said. She said, "We finally buried the hatchet. I went to see Elton John perform at SNL this weekend. Wow. I remember when I was in high school, I snuck out of the house one night to see Elton perform live in Detroit. It was an unforgettable performance that helped me understand the transformative power of music. Seeing him perform when I was in high school changed the course of my life. I had always felt like an outsider growing up, and watching him on stage helped me to understand that it was okay to be different, to stand out, to take the road less traveled by. In fact, it was essential. Now, over the decades, it hurt me to know that someone I admired so much shared his dislike for me publicly as an artist. I didn't understand it. I was told Elton John was the musical guest on SNL, and I decided to go. I needed to go backstage and confront him. When I met him, the first thing out of his mouth was, "Forgive me," and the wall between us fell down. Forgiveness is a powerful tool. Within minutes, we were hugging. Then he told me he had written a song for me and he wanted to collaborate. It was like everything came full circle. And you could tell everybody, oh, this is the song. ... End scene. Well, look, here's the thing. I'm actually glad that they did this because any other time, I'm like, fuck you, like, I be just like, when they go low, I go to, I dance around, tap dance, actually, the 8 circles of hell. However, you realize when you get older, the one thing you don't want to do is sit around holding grudges being mad about people. And I like the fact that, you know what, that's that Leo blood in her. I forget what Elton John sign is, but somebody said, yeah, they both don't like to be shown up in a lot of ways. And I believe it. He's a diva. She's a diva. The fact of the matter is like, yeah, why don't you like me? Like, we've done many of things. We've crossed paths. They performed together in the past. Like this, but he was going off saying all kinds of shady stuff about her. But I'm actually glad that they worked it out. Now, what I also wanted to say, by the time Madonna released her breakthrough self-titled album in '83, the British pianist and singer-songwriter had already put out 17 studio albums, played the biggest stadiums in the world, and received 14 Grammy nominations. You hear that, Lizzo? So Janet was not the first, because trust and believe, Elton was a diva too. Now, coming of age in a small Michigan town and then striking out as a solo artist in New York City in the late 70s, Madonna reflected on John's immeasurable impact on her early aspirations. And that's when it goes into the whole thing about her in high school and all other stuff. So I just wanted to point out that, yeah, she, by the time she dropped her album, she put out 17 records. By the time, Janet put out Control, Madonna had her 12. So not 12 albums, but 12 #1 Billboard charting singles. So, gotta remind y'all, and facts are facts, not what you get from Pooh Crave, Pop Crave, and all them other sites that sit up here and try to cook the books to make people sound valid in certain things when they don't be 110% factual over there with the stuff they be saying. So now, they said that Madonna and Elton's public relationship goes back to at least 1985 when they were captured having some fun backstage at the Brit Awards, but their seemingly playful bond soured in 2002 when John issued an unprovoked attack on Die Another Day, Madonna's song for the year's James Bond film of the same name. Calling it the worst Bond tune ever, John suggested that instead of Madonna, they should have gone for somebody like Lulu and Shirley Bassey, or maybe I'm in that league. Well, here's the thing. How many damn songs for James Bond has Dame Shirley Bassey done? She's done quite a few. Diamonds Are Forever, Goldfinger, there's probably a couple more in there. Goldfinger. And man with a Midas touch. I love some Dame Shirley Bassey, child. Don't even get me started. But Lulu, I've heard from her. Wasn't she in that movie with what the hell's his name? Sidney Poitier? That's the only place I know Miss Lulu from. I don't really know her music. But I remember Lulu was in I believe in a Sidney Poitier movie. Anyway, so then John went and criticized Madonna's nomination for Best Live Act at the 2004 Q Awards, quipping, "Since when has lip syncing been live? Anyone who lip syncs in public on stage when you pay £75 to see them should be shot." The Tiny Dancer singer went on this way for years, referring to Madonna variously as a fucking fairground stripper and a miserable cow, with the pop star occasionally responding through a publicist or offering a form of forgiveness after John sought an apology. I'm like, God damn. Elton, tell us how you really feel. So yeah, there's a picture there of these two singing together. So apparently they was on good terms at the time. Because, I always got to pull up a receipt when these girls be out there calling people cows and stuff. Now, both Madonna and Elton have appeared on a long-running NBC sketch comedy show numerous times over the course of their storied careers, but never on the same night, and certainly never embracing an oppose of mutual forgiveness. So yeah, so while there were rumors floating around that Madonna was going to be at the Kylie Minogue concert at Madison Square Garden, because she did 2 nights. She did one on Friday and one on Saturday. Madonna was over there like, oh, I heard Elton was going to be able to, this is way more important. I love you, Kylie. I know this is a great milestone for you to be headlining your own show at MSG. And it was everything. You can see my little video and stuff on that on my YouTube channel and on my other platforms. However, this is a more important situation. I need to go and clear the air with this man and be like, okay, Miley was good. Like, I got to confront you on that. And she did, and did. And then now, in this situation, he saw her. And now, because, he allegedly, word on the curb is Elton's not doing well medically. He's losing his eyesight and things of that nature. And he a man of a certain age. So, yeah, we're not all going to live forever. This ain't fame, child. So, At this point, it's like I get it. It's like I see you. We too old for, in the words of the Lethal Weapon, Mel Gibson and Danny Glover, we too old for this shit. So clear it up, let bygones be bygones, and let's move on. But before I get up off here, Elton John did respond where he got 450 likes. I think he commented in the Madonna comment section, which I just closed like a damn fool. Hold on, now let me pull it. I was like, why did I close that? Where is Madonna? Madonna. So I was like, I was not trying to close that, and I closed it by accident. I was trying to see if there was people in there. I'm sure there was a lot of people that commented. But anyway, here's what he said. He said, at Madonna, thank you for coming to see me at SNL. And thank you for forgiving me and my big mouth. I'm not proud of what I said, particularly when I think about all the groundbreaking work you have done as an artist, paving the way for an entire generation of female artists. Wait, you mean that wasn't Janet that did that? It was Madonna? Really? Elton, you might want to check the facts, because according to the people, Janet Jackson was out here she was the first. But anyway, Lizzo is not going to live that shit down. I don't give a good goddamn. So he said, yeah, when I think about all the groundbreaking work you've done as an artist, paving the way for an entire generation of female artists to succeed and be true to themselves, you were also one of the very first people to rise up against HIV and AIDS in the 80s. And this is coming from someone who actually has his own organization that he raises funds for every year at the Oscars after party. But that's because I got to give you all the education before we read through this whole article. Bringing love and compassion to so many who desperately need it. I'm grateful we can move forward. I'm increasingly distressed by all the divisiveness in our world at the moment. Both you and I have wholeheartedly been accepted and embraced by communities who are under threat around the world. By pulling together, I'm hopeful that we can make great things happen for those who really need support and have a lot of fun doing it. So, shout out to you, Elton. I'm glad that you were the bigger person and you just let it go. But a lot of people, made comments. We got Satam Hamrul, who is Roger from RuPaul's Drag Race, and some heart emojis. There's a lot of heart emojis. Russell Tovey, my other husband, I got a lot. Put a bunch of heart emojis. MLVC podcast. If you don't know, hey Stephen. Said healing the world one pop song at a time. Pandora Box was in the comments with a bunch of heart emojis. Official Sholalpa. Oh, I know who he is. He's a director. He does this show on I think it's on YouTube called Strange Love, and I know he's working on another movie too. It's on Prime Video too, if you haven't seen it. It's a gay series with Latino men, so definitely check it out because they show peen up in there and everything, and booty, and there's a lot of fornication. So if y'all haven't seen that show, definitely check it out. But anyway. So yeah, he says, oh, I see Felix, you was up in the comments too, saying she probably had to sneak out a lot because of how strict her dad was. Because somebody wrote, wasn't the snuck out the house story originally about dick? Bitch, not y'all calling out Madonna. Forget her icons mixed up. Because I was thinking that too. When I heard the story, I was like, wait a minute. The one that wasn't Elton John that you said it about, because you said it about David Bowie. Now it's Elton John. So which homosexual or half a homosexual is it? Because according to the word on the curb was, well, Elton John tried to identify as bisexual, but he's a full-on homosexual, and David Bowie is bisexual. So yeah, it was in the comments because now I'm scrolling by and I see it. But it was like Debbie Mazur was in the comments, Brandy Carlisle was in the comments. Thalia was in the comments. So there's a lot of celebrities. Questlove was up in there. So Madonna had all the celebrities up in the comments leaving their thoughts. And so, speaking of which, I want to hear y'all thoughts. So what do y'all think of this story in regards of Madonna and Elton John burying the hatchet in regards of everything that went down? So whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. He said, I like Outer Banks. They have good stories. Elton's feud with her was one-sided. She never said anything bad about him. She seems unbothered. And what he said to her, yeah. And it was sort of like, what was that? Maybe it was a place of, I think he was jealous or envious, the fact that Madonna, being a woman, could do all the things he, as a open, well, it took him years to finally come out of the closet, because quiet as it's kept, Elton John was not out when he first started. Yeah, he was doing the flamboyant costumes and all the other stuff, which that was during the glam era, and I'm sure he came out before that. So it was like, I don't remember off the top of my head, like when Elton John, I think it was like the early 70s, but that was like, teetering around like the glam rock era and that sort of thing. And maybe prior to that, it was sort of like, Woodstock and that whole vibe. So you're ushering out of that and you're going into the whole glam rock era type situation. And he's doing that where he's playing the piano, which is where you see a lot of where Lady Gaga gets her isms from. When it looks at Elton John, the flashy costumes and playing the piano and the rock star aspect of her shows, same thing with him. And maybe he was upset because, while he had to play the game until he got to a place where he was so successful that he could be out and proud and nobody cared. That when you look at, because the straights, they still live for Elton John. They don't have an issue with him being a homosexual because they like the music. The music goes beyond that. Whereas he couldn't do all the flashiness of what Madonna does. So maybe there was some envy there in regards of how it was. And then also maybe he felt the way because Madonna was not the easiest person to be around. I told you how many times I had to tell y'all that she was referred to by certain circles as Madoo-doo. So when it comes around to that, I could totally see that maybe he had personal reasons for that. But yeah, if I didn't do nothing to you personally, there should be no reason why you run around here saying all kinds of crap. Not Elton Vogan. Elton is an Aries. Aries just as stubborn as them damn Leos. All right, he just turned 78. Happy birthday. I did hear he's going blind. I'm sure they had a long talk when they met up. That's why I said it would have been great to see if she was at the Kylie concert because, a lot of people was expecting her to be there or hoping that Madonna was going to be there. But she wasn't. And that was fine. Danny was there, as in Minogue. Now that he's blind, maybe he will see me different. But you'll be here all night, right? Lizzo gonna get dragged for years. Okay. And any opportunity is going that something pop in my head, Lizzo gonna, be getting it by Lizzo. What about Donna? That exactly. Like how you gonna sit up there and say like Donna Summer wasn't a diva? Elton must be preparing for them okay, and that's probably what it is too. It's like what? When you're when you see like the light at the end of the tunnel, then it's like, you know what? Hey girl, I'm sorry. Let's hug it out. And let's keep it because I'm too old to be out here cussing people out and screaming and stuff. So be the bigger person. As he should be. Not Miss Cokehead. He says, see, I'm not the only messy queen. She was dragged and said, you're more into urban music. And said, wait, what's this about? You talking about, what is this about when it comes to Andy Cohen? Does this have to do with Madonna? Because, Robert, you have to remember, you have to give context when you're talking about something. Because I'm like, I don't even know what this is referring to. So you said that I'm not the only messy queen. I mean, but you are messy. Nobody said you're the only messy one, but you are messy. And just in the words of Lisa Rinna, own it. And then said she was dragged to say you're more into urban music instead of dance music. I mean, is that code for like you more or less into black men than you are anybody else? Because we know he fetishizes the black men's work allegedly. But I don't know if he's more. Is he really into urban music? I don't know. Andy gives me stereotypical tease. Like he likes Madonna, Beyonce, like the pop girlies. Like he very much gives me that. Like if you are into urban music, it ain't Mary J. Blige. It's Beyonce, or it's Donna Summer, or Diana Ross. That's the kind of black he listening to. You ain't listening to Doechii. You ain't listening to Little Kim. I saw a clip of an interview with Madonna from 1990 where she did say it was Elton. David Bowie was probably her son. Okay, so maybe that's what it was. Because I could have sworn, like, did we get something confused? Because I could have sworn she said it was David Bowie. But it probably was that she saw both of them. I think Elton and David have both inspired her, but I think David Bowie more or less inspired her than Elton did. To me, Madonna is the bigger person because most of her feuds are one-sided. She only defends herself or the clickbait. Yeah, because remember when she was at the VMAs and then all of a sudden Courtney Love decided to pick a fight with her, throwing her compact at her while Kurt Loder was interviewing her on that little thing above, above the little marquee thing at Radio City. I remember that like it was yesterday. Her comments on Mariah were nice. She only said the success was the dumbing of America. That's shade to America, not Mariah Carey. Only feud was Lady Gaga, but then again, Lady Gaga lied, saying in the 70s he was known for his fashion. Oh, okay. Are you saying that Madonna gave her the blessing to do Born This Way? Oh, yeah. She was like, I ain't tell you that, niece. Oh, you said, yeah. That's what I said. Like, he was basically known for being very flamboyant with the fashions and stuff. And I think that's what pretty much stood out. I mean, he had good songs. I mean, I grew up listening to Elton John. My parents played it around the house when I was a kid. So, um, yeah, but he was definitely known for like his kooky fashion sense. Don't forget he was, oh yeah, that too. I forgot about the whole Avita thing. I forgot to mention that in the damn story. It was like when he was on the red carpet with his husband, David, and I don't know, he just started going off about Avita and Madonna and that sort of thing, with just throwing shade at her. Then she won the award, and then they go and that shady cameraman, shout out to you, whoever that was, pan right to Elton's face while she was up there giving her speech. It's like, you said all that mess about her, and now look at you. She done won that award, and you out here looking like boo the fool. I heard she's going to go to London shows during the final stages of the recording sessions, break for both her and Stewart's kids to finish. What London? Wait, is Kylie going back to do shows in London? I thought after she wrapped up. I thought she wrapped up. She after she does the U.S. leg, then she's done. Unless there is something I forgot or wasn't paying attention. You said I hope she's going to go to the London. I heard she's going to London shows during the final stages. Okay, yeah, because people saying like, why is she still recording? I mean, she flying back and forth. I said, she want them stems to get out. Remember that what happened the last time when she did Rebel Heart? It's like, yeah, go keep going back and forth. It's like, keep flying back and forth and do what you got to do to make that record what it is. So that's why I was like, we ain't probably getting this album till about September. That's what I feel like. So I guess the album is, yeah, that's what I was thinking. I didn't even read your comment. I was like, it just felt like, yeah, if she's still, because I did hear that she is still recording the record and she's been flying back and forth to London to go film it. I mean, film it to record it. So, yeah, so more than likely, we're not getting this record until probably September, which usually is when she drops a lot of her albums anyway in the fall. Who said Andy Cohen is more into hip hop music and not dance pop like Madonna? Is he? Okay. You said Mary J over B any day for me. Well, guess what? In 2 days, I'll be working Mary concert. So we'll see how she is live. Cleveland is in the building. Diva of the day, our very special Devo Elton. Same thing when she won for Masterpiece. The glare he gave, just a hating outside the club because you can't even get in. Kylie tours Europe after North. Okay. I thought she was done, and that's crazy. I literally thought that she already did Europe. I know she did some parts, and then now she's doing US, and then she goes back overseas and then does the tour still. Oh, you saying the tour doesn't end until August? Jesus, she gonna be on the damn road for 4 more months. All right, Kylie. I hope you take a break after this. You've given us enough time for you to relax and take care of yourself. You want to know something that I never even knew too? And I want to try this because it says like it definitely strengthens your voice, whether or not you're a singer or even like if you're somebody who talks or does like what I'm doing with the show. I don't know. I got distracted. So they was talking about that there's this method of I mean, like when you want to strengthen your vocals, which I had never heard of, but it was called vocal tubing, which basically is you take a straw, you put it in a bottle with water, and you basically just you got to make sure your lips are tight around the straw, and you just blow into the straw and you just make noises or whatever, and that like sounds like you're doing vocal training, like when you make a little vocal training and all other stuff. And they said it really helps with strengthening your voice. I'm like, shit, I might need to start doing that because and it's not only like just in cases for like singing or whatever, but also it's because I want to be able to like, especially if I'm doing a show for 3 hours or whatever the case is, you don't want to like get vocal strain or what, things of that nature. So that's what I was. Oh, child, I went and opened up my YouTube because that was like where I saw the YouTube video because they were talking about the 7 moments from the MSG performance, that Kylie did on Billboard. They did a whole story on it. So I posted it on my page. And when they said it in there, it was like she was doing this type of thing called vocal tubing, water resistant vocal training. I was like, what is that? So I had to look that up. But child, when I went on YouTube, because I posted my comment about Lizzo and the whole Madonna thing, somebody said Lizzo is all the way wrong when it came to Britney. Britney was inspired by Madonna, Paula Abdul, and Janet. Those were her main 3. Lizzo was right about how every popular genre of music is derived from Black culture. The first pop diva I think of as the archetype of all pop divas is Diana Ross. I know she doesn't dance like the others after her, but the way she carries herself, I've seen some of the influence in the divas. Yeah, Beyonce being one of them. One last thing, don't talk about Janet's biddy again, please. That was uncalled for. Well, y'all know me. I talk about what's her biddy. I don't remember what the hell I said. But I say all kinds of stuff. So whatever. Whatever. Put your right hand up, put your left hand up, put your right hand up, put your left hand up. They finally ended their feud. They can help fight for LGBT. Okay. May 16th, first week of August, is the Tension European Tour and Festival. She launched a tour in Australia and did Asia. It's 70 shows. Her third longest tour. Oh, yeah, I forgot that. It's going to be a pretty long tour. Well, take care of yourself. Well, you know what? The vocals is on point because Miss Mamas was singing strong. And one of my friends was saying, Joshua, who, comes in here every now and again, he was like, oh, her vocals were sharp. I'm like, sharp? Do you know what sharp means? You can't say, like, are you saying, like, it was, like, sharp as in, like, her voice was pristine, like it was perfect? Because vocal sharp, and I had to I got to sit and Google um what it means so I can get it. Basically, basically means you're singing above the intended pitch, meaning the note sounds higher than it should, and that's basically caused by vocal tension, incorrect vowel shapes, or excessive breath pressure. So singing sharp is not necessarily a good thing because every now and again, like back in the day on American Idol, you used to always hear like they would say pitchy or you sound a bit sharp when you sing. I'm like, oh, when I saw her those 2 times, yeah, there were moments where she did hit a note and it was like her voice would crack. But I'm like, I don't care about vocal imperfections. To me, it's like as least she up there singing and hitting all the notes. You're not gonna always have a good note every time, but Kylie does sing way better than people give her credit for, and I'm tired of people always trying to disrespect her and making it seem like, oh yeah, she can't sing. I'm gonna say you got her confused with Miss Hannah. I hate having to give her that stray, but and Katy Perry, because quiet as it's kept, Katy Perry's backing track had to be louder than her when she performed at Jingle Ball. I heard it when it went up. Well, tension was the highest ever since the Fever album, but this time she did it right by doing a full tour in the US and other countries. That's what I was saying. Like, yeah, come to the US. I really wish that they would have, even people that I know that was like, yeah, I've never seen her live and I've always wanted to see her live. This was their opportunity to see her. And I was glad that they came to see her. There was another point that I forgot to bring up. That there was a part of the show that I didn't particularly care for in regards to the costuming. There's one sequence, and I don't remember where it is, but every time I always end up having to go and do something, and then I'll come back and I'll go and watch the show. But The sequence where she has like these dancers dressed up, they look like Teletubbies. It's like a cross between Teletubbies and those little things that you see outside the car dealerships that be waving. That's what some of the background dancers' costumes look like. And I was like, who made this choice? Other than that, that whole look was the weakest part for me. But other than that, it was a solid show. Mm-mm. 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 I was thinking, yeah, singing through a straw is definitely a thing. That's why I said I'm gonna definitely start doing that. After you mentioned her doing Story at Madison Square Garden, I decided to see if I could do a remix for it. Okay, I need to hear that. And funny enough, when I mentioned that, the article in Billboard mentioned it too. It said, and okay. Why are we talking about what is that, a banana? So why are we talking about bananas up on here? Cucumber, Kylie dilation kit, a mess. All right, y'all. Now that we got through those. So speaking of rappers and put your right hand up, put your left hand up, let's get into this story. So apparently Billboard has crowned Nicki Minaj as their number one choice for greatest female rapper of all time. So congratulations to her. Miss Petty. Many Penny. To being chosen as the greatest female rapper of all time, which of course you know is going to start some shit all over social media. But anyway, let's get into it. So they said today's rap landscape wouldn't have been possible without the pioneering role of women MCs. In an era where the field was predominantly male in the 70s and 80s, these fearless wordsmiths, including MC Lyte, Roxanne Shante, Salt and Pepper, and Latifah, emerged to transform it. MC Lyte, the first ever female MC to release a solo studio album, and Roxanne Shante, who showcased her dominance during her lyrical tussle with UTFO, were just a few examples of the incredible talent that emerged. Salt and Pepper, with their magnetic personalities and sex appeal, showed the world that women can run the game with the best of them, both on and off the mic. And then there's Missy Elliott, who innate creativity not only made music videos motion picture quality, but also threw convention out the window, leaving a lasting impact on the genre. Now, some of the greatest masterworks in rap today were crafted by women, including Lauryn Hill's The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, which won 5 Grammys, Nicki Minaj's Pink Friday, which is certified triple platinum, and now Doshi's revered Grammy award-winning project, Alligator Bites Never Heal. The genre doesn't move without women. Without a flurry of artists today zipping past the competition, ranging from Megan Thee Stallion to Cardi B to Glorilla and Lotto, it's hard to imagine what hip hop would be if women MCs didn't have a say in the genre's ever growing evolution. Now, below, the Billboard staff compiles its list of 25 best female rappers of all time, along with the following criteria. So this is what went into the whole situation. It says body of work, achievements, meaning charting singles, albums, gold, platinum certifications, cultural impact, influence, how the artist's work fostered the genre's evolution, longevity, that would be years at the mic, lyrics, storytelling skills, and flow, vocal prowess. So in regards to the list, I know a lot of y'all probably gonna be in y'all feelings about it, but let's go. And I was thinking, which number do I want to start at? Let's do the top 25 because that's pretty much what they had. Oh, I see that feel that you sent it. um, okay. So at 25, we have Tierra Whack. Number 24, we got Doshi. Number 23, we got Gangsta Boo. Number 22, Lady of Rage. Number 21, Glorilla. Number 20, Moni Love. Number 19, Lotto. Number 18, Remy Ma. Number 17, Rhapsody. Number 16, Doja Cat. Number 15, Megan Thee Stallion. Number 14, Left Eye. Number 13, we have Trina. Number 12, we have Da Brat. And number 11, short of the top 10, we got Miss Cardi B. Now, number 10, we got Foxy Brown. Number 9, we have Eve. 8 is Roxanne Shante. 7 comes as Salt and Pepper. Then we have MC Lyte at 6. We got Queen Latifah at 5, Little Kim at number 4, Lauryn Hill at number 3, Missy Elliott at number 2, and Nicki Minaj at number 1. Now, in regards of Nicki Minaj being picked as number 1, I actually don't feel no ways about it because here's the thing. When it comes down to her, she is one of the most successful female rappers out of all of them, meaning that with she has kind of set the blueprint in a way for the next generation to follow in her footsteps in taking a lot of what she does and passing the baton down to the next generation, which is what so many of these other female rappers that were brought up prior to Nicki Minaj, like a MC Light, like a Queen Latifah, like a Moni Love, like a Trina, all those other ones, they walk so a person like Nicki Minaj can be the complete package and be the artist that she is. Not taking away from her talent because she's definitely got a sick pen game. And like I always say to this day, when you listen to Monster, her verse is the best one. That's the only one I remember out of everybody that was on that damn song. I mean, quiet as it's kept, Kanye gets all his shit written for him any damn way. But for the most part, when it comes down to it, Nicki was the best on that. A lot of her songs, yeah, they don't. For the past, like, especially with Pink Friday 2 and all that stuff, yeah, that's just like whatever. The music ain't hitting like it used to, but we cannot deny that the amount of inspiration, a lot of the creativity, a lot of the hard work that she put in to a lot of the previous stuff that she did, it definitely works out, especially with so many of the different, people that she was, where it was like Harajuku Barbie, Roman Zolansky, Chun-Li, or basically being Onika, or just regular Nicki Minaj. So Miss Onika Petty, she definitely did that in regards to this. So I definitely am not upset with what they chose. I did come on my own list though. We're gonna get into that in a minute, but here's what they said on why they chose her. They said, I'm number one, y'all go argue over top 4. This is what she boastfully flexed on Pink Friday 2. Who else did you expect to see at number 1 on this list? Lil Kim. Lil Kim. But anyway, so it's at 15 years after she left Earth with her godly verse on Kanye West Monster and delivered her seminal Pink Friday debut album, the First Lady of Young Money is still running laps around the competition. Minaj quickly usurped the throne and stylistically rewrote the playbook for female rappers while becoming an architect of pop music in the process. Whether she's tapping into her storied rap personalities, or they said the story of rap can't be told without Minaj, and she's got plenty of sons around the industry running through the doors she busted down. Well, I will say that out of all the other female rappers that came before her, Nicki Minaj regarding mainstream success and how just by herself she could do two laps around the world and I with just being a solo female rap artist and selling out arenas. No other rapper, I don't think, in my opinion, female rapper wise, can do that. So yes, with all those women that came before her, Nicki Minaj is, I would say, the complete mainstream package where yeah, she has, been able to buzz down a lot of doors. So now when you look at a lot of these younger girls that are coming up after her, like a Megan Thee Stallion, like a Cardi B, like a Glorilla, like a Doechii, all these other girls, like a Doja Cat, a lot of them are able to take what they learned from her, excuse me, use it as inspiration and take it to the next level. And that's what it should always be about when it comes to artistry. The same thing I always talk about with Madonna and how she's influenced so many other girls in the pop music land space. I do feel like with this generation coming up, Nicki has done that for a lot of other girls. Only problem is a lot of y'all starting to sound and look alike. That's the only thing. Y'all got to talk about a whole lot more than just y'all coochies and things. We need a little variety. And that's why I like girls like a Rhapsody, or whenever Remy Ma decides to put out music, but we still have our old stuff. um, Doechii, Doja Cat, Azealia Banks, once upon a time, but she's so irrelevant right now. Anybody really checking for her? MIA, I don't know why she wasn't included on this list. Regardless of how you feel about her politics, she has definitely been another one that is influential in this whole situation. So I did compile my list because here's the thing. And this is the gag. This is what I don't understand. And color me crazy, but why is it that Lauryn Hill is on this list? I understand that everybody loves Lauryn Hill and how influential she was. She's a one album wonder. Lauryn Hill has not given us music in damn near 2 decades. It might be past the 2 decades. I lost count on when that damn debut album came out. And she's still gooping y'all over the fact that she don't, show up on time at concerts. Y'all be out here buying y'all tickets, and then 3 weeks before she about to hit the road, they get canceled. So how was she still at the top of the list in regards of respect and greatest record and all this other stuff? Lauryn Hill ain't even a damn rapper. She raps sometimes. She mostly sings. So I is confusion, as I would say, when I'm trying to be funny in certain situations, like in this whole regard. But in all seriousness, I do not understand why Lauryn Hill is on this list. Y'all need to stop playing in our face with this whole Lauryn Hill. I just feel like y'all just be putting Lauryn Hill up in there because y'all feel like it gets y'all brownie points and it makes y'all sound cool by putting her up in there. But I vehemently disagree with her being a part of this list. And it's no shade. I'm just saying. So when she put out more than one record, and I know some people, but Cardi B put out one record, she supposed to be working on another one. And sidebar, at this point, Cardi B don't even need to put out no more music because didn't they just make an announcement that she is like, damn, what is it? I gotta look that story up because there was a recent story that came out today, or might have been in yesterday or today or something or another. If I was like, it doesn't pop up, was just Cardi B. I think it was that she's worth 150 or grossed 150 million or something of that nature. Oh, they said, yeah, her net worth is projected to be over $100 million or something or another because there was a story that came out, I believe in like yesterday or today or something. I wish I could find the article, but it just came to my brain and I was supposed to look that up earlier and I can't remember all the time I head. But if y'all know the tea, definitely drop it down in the comments because I did hear like, yeah, her net worth is crazy right now. So she didn't even need to put out any music. And then she went and responded, just wait until the album come out. Well, maybe I can go to the Twitter and look it up and see if it pops up. If I put in Cardi B name, oh, they were trying to say she's in a 360. Okay, look, I don't want to keep y'all dragging y'all. I mean, having like just dead air and stuff, so I can't find the article. So it's not that serious. But in regards to my list, I'm not gonna go through the whole 25, but I'm gonna go to the top 10. So my top 10 will be Left Eye. Number 9 would be MC Light, Queen Latifah at 8, Eve at 7, Cardi B at 6, Foxy Brown at 5, Nicki Minaj at 4. Number 3, I will put MIA. Number 2, I will put Missy Elliott, and number 1, I will put Little Kim. I'm not sitting over there putting no damn Lauryn Hill on the list. Like I understand, like she came out with the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, and that album is held in such a regard. But at this point, it's like, child, y'all not really listening to Miseducation like that. Stop playing in our face. Like I feel like a lot of y'all only want to put that album as on a high regard because of what Lauryn Hill she embodies in regards of where her placement was in the world of music. But we done moved on. So I think that's all I got to say on that. So I don't think I have anything else to offer in regards to that. But in closing, congratulations, Nicki. I can't think of anybody else who would possibly or would be better at the number one spot. I mean, I picked Little Kim because I am a Little Kim fan, and yes, there are elements of what Little Kim has done. Little Kim was little black Barbie dressed in Bulgari long before Nicki Minaj came along and started doing Barbie teens. So we got to give Little Kim her flowers in that way, but Little Kim ain't really out here like that no more. And I don't think Little Kim has had the kind of. I do feel like Nicki Minaj has surpassed Little Kim in regards of like her influence in music, but Little Kim will always be that icon because if it wasn't, if Little Kim didn't exist, there wouldn't be someone like a Nicki Minaj to be kind of giving the fashions and talking about sex and those other things and hustling and all the other stuff in her music. But Nicki was able to do all kinds of other stuff. Kim's foundation will always be rooted in hip hop. The thing with Nicki Minaj is she could do the hip hop songs. She could do those songs where she shows off her flow and cadence, but she could also do those pop songs, which people clowned her for. And I don't understand why they did that because I like Starships. I liked a lot of those pop songs that she was out there doing. So she gets up there, they gets the party started. So everything can't just be up there. Yeah, what? Like I can't be sitting there doing that the whole show. I be needing like a damn chiropractor afterwards and getting massages all night. If you up there trying to show like, yeah, I gotta be a roughneck the whole night. It's like, let Let Nicki be a girl. She ain't gotta be up in here serving bulldog teas like a lot of you female rappers out here be doing. But anyway, I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Hold on, because I gotta scroll on up. Who's that, Cardi? Missy or death for me. Yeah, a lot of people were saying that Missy should have been in the top. Like I had a couple of people that was in my comments. Oh, excuse me. On social media that were just like, I don't know if I agree with this list. But the one thing about lists, particularly when they come from Billboard or Rolling Stone, which we tend to talk about a lot on here, is the fact that I feel like with art, they're subjective. So with that being said, I feel like that y'all really need to be, I don't know, I just be like, just give your opinion. However you feel about it, just weigh on it. I don't think we need to take this as gospel because there's some people that's going to agree. There's going to be some people that disagree, and it is what it is. But yeah, Michael Karpinski, who was at the Kylie concert, was like, they really gas up number one now, don't they? He also, has his own blog and all the other stuff, which he did a review on the Kylie concert. R.O. Johnson, is Lauren Hill really a rapper considering the others? And that's why I said, like, no, that's why I don't understand why she's even included. Just because, you know, you say a couple of rhymes, especially on Lost One and a bunch of other stuff, that don't make you a rapper. Yeah, she does both, but I feel like she more or less focused on a lot of singing versus a lot of the raps. So I don't even understand why Lauryn Hill's on that list. And somebody said Lauryn Hill really and Nicki number one just by 2 cents. I was like, why do people think like I'm a cuss their ass out of thinking that? Because like, just my 2 cents. You don't have to apologize. Just say what you want to say. The other person said, I disagree, but carry on. Then I had somebody comment, somebody note Lil Nas. Lil Nas X, first of all, in my opinion, Lil Nas X has not proven himself in any of the genres and to be even on a list of greatest rapper, not greatest female rapper. First of all, that's shade. And number two, it's like Lil Nas X got to give me something. So far, I don't feel like I've been really feeling any of the errors that he's been trying to come with. Or is it the fact that is he still being punished because he did that J. Christ video and everybody's still up in arms about that? Then I had somebody saying Billboard list sponsored by the AARP. Another person said that was paid for. So the people in the comments over on my social media is like, they don't agree. And that's fine. Everybody has their opinion. Left Eye, Trina, and Gangsta Boo should be in the top 10. Yeah, I just don't understand that. Like, really, with Left Eye was doing futuristic stuff long before there was a Missy Elliott. So what are y'all talking about? Willis. So Lauryn Hill are not appropriate category. That's what everybody was saying. I was like, this don't make no sense. Why are you putting Lauryn Hill in a hip hop category? She's more or less a singer. Yeah, she occasionally raps, but she's more or less a singer. Salt and Pepper MC like Roxanne Shante in the top 10. Nicki will always be number one on these lists until she's surpassed, and given that her biggest competitors are 10 spots below her. I wonder if they did that on purpose. Yeah, because don't be playing the E face. Child, when E first came out, I was all about Miss Pitbull in the skirt. Lil' Kim is the number one because her music didn't transition into the digital age, and most young people know her as the female rapper before Nicki. Now who changes her face a lot. I mean, she kind of does. It's giving face off tease, but what I don't understand is like, yeah, but I agree with you on that. I do feel like after the Naked Truth, when she went to jail and then she came out and then it was the Naked Truth, I do feel like, because I remember that time, I was really hoping like, yeah, Kim about to get out of jail, she about to, come back or whatever, and it just didn't happen. I feel like after she went to jail and then she came out, she was trying to get her sea legs, and I feel like her career never really recovered. So now she's out here just doing the festival circuit, and she'll give you a medley of her hits performing, and we see the comments of y'all always talking about her body and her face and stuff, and it's old and it's tired. But look, little Kim is who she is. She did what she did to her face. She got to live with it. She got to live with them legs and them big old thighs and all the other stuff that she keep doing to her body. She got to live with that, not us. But The music is the music. And I always will live for hardcore, and I'll always live for Notorious K.I.M. and a lot of those eras. But yeah, I do agree that that Nicki is a number one spot for that very sense, is that her music didn't transcend in the digital age, whereas Nicki Minaj, she was on the cusp of that, the physical media transitioning into the digital age, and she was able to accumulate both. Agreed. MIA over Miss Minaj, which is where I put her at number 3, and that's why Nicki was at number 4, and then of course I put Little Kim at number 1. But that's my list because I'm biased, and I'm a Little Kim. You know, Little Kim is my era. I'm not Nicki Minaj era. The Nicki Minaj's era is my cousin, Destiny, who's like 21. So that's the era what she plays into. Little Kim paved the way for hardcore mainstream rap. No Iggy, no. Are you trying to be funny? You know damn well, Miss you the shit. I'm a fart. Whatever that stupid line is not gonna be put up in here. They're not gonna put little Orphan Annie up in here when Iggy Azalea with her remember her battle rap? Then she was doing that. I'm like, girl, what are you saying? You speaking pig Latin and trying to pass it off as hip hop? Roman Reloaded is my personal fave Nicki album because it's 50% pop rap and 50% East Coast rap and 100% showing off her oddball term. And I kind of miss when she does that. That was one of the things that made me actually like her, when she would take on these different characters and she would basically just come up with these different characters and then just be, she would rap in that style, which I remember other rappers were doing that too. I'm trying to remember, wasn't Eminem kind of, Eminem was doing that. There was a lot of male rappers at the time. And then she kind of brought the female perspective to it. And I was like, I kind of like that when it's like, I'm doing a character, whatever, because that was something that was big in hip hop. And I like the fact that she put that, out there. Child, we knew you was playing. When I read that, I said, I knew you would say no Iggy, no Ice. You know what kind of show this is? Like, we read over here. Not Iggy, child. But anyway, let's go from one controversy to another. Let's get into this Kenya Moore hair care story. So apparently it wasn't the hair care that was the problem. It was the fact that it happened down at the salon. So the other day we did talk a bit about Cynthia Bailey weighing in on Kenya Moore and how she felt like they hadn't spoken since the Kenya Moore hair salon launch, because she did open she opened up her own hair care spot. And Cynthia weighed in and was like that she held Kenya to a higher standard because that's her friend, and she felt like that wasn't the time or the place to do what she did. And of course, this was out. We did this on Sunday, so it was before the episode dropped. So now the episode is dropped, meaning they shared at the end, which is typical of Bravo. I knew they was going to save that all the way until like the last 5 minutes. So yeah, it was a whole spectacle. I wish I could show y'all the clips, but NBC Universal, y'all know how they get. I'm sure if y'all Google Schmoogle, you go all over the social medias, you'll be able to see it. So yeah. So Kenya spoke out following the explosive episode and showed her public display of explicit images of Britt Eady, who was on the show. Now, what had happened was how the whole thing played out, because I was like, a bunch of people weighed in. Andy Cohen had his co-host over there at Radio. Andy weighed in. I got the receipts on that, and Kenya's response was get into. Dr. Heavenly from Married to Madison and a fellow Bravo celebrity decided to weigh in and give her 2 cents. And, so it's like everybody's been kind of going in and letting have and giving their opinions. And I'm going to give y'all mine after we play all these clips. So what happened was, leading up to all the drama, there was some type of event that they had went to, and Britt, I think quite a few times, was all of her feelings about how Kenya was coming at her, and even at times threatened Kenya with a pistol. Now, somebody gonna sit up in here and threaten me with a pistol, and your ugly ass husband over there just mean mugging the whole time, it's gonna be a problem. And I'm gonna get legal involved. I'm like, I'm not a cease and desist. I want a restraining order, making it difficult for this broad to film with me. And then I'm going to purposely make myself be around all the other girls so that way your ass don't be getting to get in the room. So I will ruin you. what Kenya did in the situation when they all came in and was celebrating her in this opening, and then she pulls out these cardboard, large, blown up cutouts. And child, I do got because I like to come with receipts and things. So in regards to that whole situation, I wanna so yeah, she pulls out these cardboards, right? And was talking about how like Brittany has gotten in some fraud stuff. Then pulled out pictures of her giving a baloney wash. I was like, girl, how you pulling all this stuff out? Like it was a whole slideshow via cardboard that she was holding up, like the girl that was holding up the numbers between boxing matches. Like it was literally that type of situation. Everybody was appalled and disgusted to the point that people was leaving. Britt apparently wasn't in there. She came in with her friend, dropped off some flowers with a card, and then left. Because I think one that people were saying was that Kenya was a little wasted. And number two, she ain't see it for Britt. And so because of what happened with Cynthia and Cynthia giving her comments, Kenya Moore retweeted a previous interview in which Nene Leakes slammed Bailey for being what she described as a bad friend. And that was, of course, because of what Cynthia said about Nene, or not Nene, about Kenya. So then also on Twitter, she retweeted a previous interview of Leakes speaking with Andy Cohen on Watch What Happens Live about her strained relationship with Cynthia, saying, when you have a friend and they do something wrong or something you don't like, I don't think you align yourself with the enemy. I think that you stick with your friend and you say, look, we were friends. I liked you. You did this and I did not like that. But at the end of the day, you're not going to align yourself with the enemy. Well, here's the thing. My thing is this. Yeah, we friends. And if you do wrong, I don't want you to the side and be like, nah, sis, that was just wrong on your end. Now, I'm not going to go and align myself, but, well, Brett, let me, whoa. Like, I'm not doing all that because I don't know this broad. And this is not, and I think, and maybe in this context, is that they're saying Cynthia is wishy-washy and a flip-flopper, and she likes to go where the money resides or where she thinks it's going to reside, which I don't think is going to reside long because no shade, based over what I've seen so far on Atlanta Housewives, just the clips and stuff, Britt is not that interesting. The only thing, like her botched nose job, just is a distraction. Yeah, you may have all this money, and you may be, but I feel like she another stunt queen. It won't be a matter. I would not be surprised if only a matter of time she'll be accused of a federal damn white collar crime alongside her husband. So I would not be surprised if she ends up caught up in a Jen Shaw, Teresa Giudice type situation. Because a lot of you broads over there get wrapped up in those situations, and it's no shade. It's just I feel like where the tea leaves is gonna fall. So me, if I'm real cool friends with somebody that's on the show, I'm gonna pull you something like that's not Kenya. You know you was dead wrong for that. And I do think that Kenya was wrong for how she did what she did. And not only that, but using her own event as an opportunity to embarrass a fellow coworker or co-star, whatever the hell you want to call him, castmate. So I do feel like that was wrong on her part. That wasn't the time nor the place. Because first of all, I don't want to see nobody slobber nobody knob. And I gotta look, and I'm in a room full of people. Now, if you want to show me something on a phone, be like, hey girl, look. Now I don't mind a peen pick if you're gonna pull me to the side. But not when you try to make it a whole display like it's a wig reveal or something on RuPaul's Drag Race. Like I'm not saying you need to go there with that. So I'm all for calling my friends out, but I'm not going to sit up in here and try to act and be blinded by, like, just blindly go and agree with you on situations. Like I said, I'm going to pull you to the side and be like, sis, you was wrong. So, yeah, in episode 4, which aired on March 30th, 2025, viewers saw what led to Moore and Edie's problems on set. Now, after a tense interaction at lunch in which Moore referred to Edie as a peasant, Corona is, the latter seemingly threatened the former Miss USA with gun violence. Now, while speaking with other cast members and her husband, Edie could be heard referencing her pistol and whips, saying, this is real life. I don't play them type of games. You're going to be respectful. You're going to be respectful around here. And if you don't know, you're going to learn today. Today is the day you're going to learn. And sis, you need to also realize this is the Real Housewives of Atlanta. This is not Bad Girls Club. This is not one of them old tight ass shows over on the Zeus network. You don't have to do no quid pro quo for Lemmy, allegedly, because I'm sure y'all probably heard them stories about Lemmy with a couple of them girls that was over there at the Zeus network is calling him out on some allegations. Just say the Google Schmoogle is out there. But in that situation, I'm just sitting there like, yeah, you seem to forget what show you want. And this is why I always laugh, because Andy Cohen try to thumb his nose over there at them other shows, the Love and Hip Hops and all that other stuff. We not those type of shows. Well, you could have fooled me. Because it seemed like a lot of these young girls that's coming up on here, they watched a lot of these shows. They grew up watching a lot of these shows because a lot of the girls that's on the Housewives now are relatively younger than the Nenes and the Kims and the Sherrays and the Cynthias and the Kenyas. They're in their, late 30s, early 40s. Early to mid 40s, I would say. So they coming at it from a different angle. And they thinking now we got to act like we on an episode of Baddies. Because everybody, like I said, if you're going to threaten me with violence, and Kenya said that she went to production about it. They didn't do nothing. So I feel like they was both wrong. One, Miss Mama was wrong, as in Britt was wrong with the threatening, because you ain't threatening me no damn weapon. I didn't also like the fact that Kenya decided to weaponize her own child in this situation. Well, this is for my daughter and blah, blah, blah. It's like, don't weaponize your daughter in this situation, because she did that on Tamron Hall, too, when she sat and talked about it. Don't use Brooklyn as a reason to why you did what you did, because it was, my daughter's life was at stake in my life. I was like, she didn't threaten your child. She threatened you. So I don't like the fact that you try to weaponize your child to justify your actions. And I also find it quite hypocritical that a lot of these people on the white people shows, particularly the Housewives of New Jersey, where there have been many situations of physical violence. Joe Gorga and Juicy Joe had that fist fight where we found out that Joe Gorga was using like hairspray to cover up his bald spot, as in the black stuff, and it got all over Joe Judice's arm and stuff, which hence why he cut all the hair off and started to bulk up, because he was using the spray stuff. Then you had, what was it, the two girls from last season when Jen Aiden got knocked upside the head by Danielle. That's physical violence. Yeah, they got suspended, but they were allowed to come back. Teresa Giudice, she flipped the table. She also pushed Andy in the chair during the reunion. That was what, season 2? So how is it that white people get to sit up in here and do all this crazy stuff, but then when the black folks come, they get reprimanded way worse? That's another thing too. So I'm noticing the racial undertones that goes into the Housewives of Atlanta as well. But before I finish, I do want to play y'all this clip of Dr. Heavenly weighing in on the situation, because she said something that made a whole lot of damn sense. She was simply saying, now, why is it? I said, wait a minute, please don't tell me I don't have it. She was like, why, if it was so bad as y'all claim, why did y'all pretty much not get rid of? I mean, why did you keep it in the show, basically? So I do have that clip. Shout out to the Neighborhood Talk. And we'll play that and we'll come back and talk. Please hold.
But then don't listen to me, because I can see shit that Kenya did wrong. So don't listen to me, because I'm the wrong bitch to listen to. So because I feel to this day that was iconic, but I'm wrong. I'm sorry. Don't quote me on that one. Don't at me. Okay. But I just felt like, I be feeling like if it was so wrong, don't show it. That's my thought. But anyway, who am I? You know what I'm saying? But then don't listen to me.
See? And she was like, yeah, if it was so bad as y'all claim, then why did you show it? Because, and it's no shade, I truly feel in my heart of hearts, and I said this, even when we found out about the drama that went down, this was like, almost a year ago when they filmed this, I said that I definitely feel in my heart of hearts, this is the only juicy thing that y'all have going on this season, because a lot of these girls that's on here, y'all are giving friend of and not giving star quality. I don't see none of you girls standing out like y'all could be a Nene or a Kim or a Sheree or even a Kenya. I don't see it. I don't see it from Portia. I don't see it from Shamia. Y'all giving friend of teas. And I do not feel like, even if you brought back Phaedra, which y'all are, and I don't know what episode she about to jump in, but it feels like it was a Hail Mary. It was like an act of desperation. And I do like Phaedra. She is good TV, but she is not going to be enough to hold down this show. She is not lead peach material. I do not feel like she's going to be enough. And so, who knows? Maybe this will be the final season. And also, I think I just felt like in my heart of hearts, Kenya, if you didn't do what you did, just let the universe take care of what it needs to take care of. Britt would have been a one and done girl. I do not see her making it past season 2. She just doesn't give. She doesn't give anything worth watching on here. So she's not the only one that has something to say. Apparently, Andy decided to weigh in too. And he broke down the drama between Kenya and Britt. I do want to give a shout out to the Bravo Shade Room. What is that? They got a shade room too. I don't know if it's the same thing as the shade room, but it's the Bravo Shade Room. So apparently they had the clip from Andy Cohen live. We're gonna play it. Y'all gonna hear what he got to say, and then we'll come back and we'll talk. Please hold.
What happened is that Britt made a comment at the end of last week's episode, like, I have a gun and a whip, or something like that.
I saw that.
And on this week's episode, they all said to Britt that you can't say that shit. And she was like, yeah, you're right. You know, whatever. She shows up to Kenya's opening of her gorgeous salon, which is beautiful, that Kenya has worked so hard on, that she dedicated to her daughter. And it's this big event, opening it with all these people there. And Britt comes in and brings her flowers and says, I want to apologize to you, and a note. And Kenya totally ignores her, like totally. And Britt's like, okay, I'm just going to leave these here. And Britt leaves.
Because we can't forget the note. Sidebar, before we get to the rest of this clip, Andy, why are you talking like that? Like she brought her a note, and guess what? And then she came in the room, and then she went and put everything down on the table, and then he walked away, and then Kenya went and was like, throw out the flowers and everything. Like, why are you talking like Kim Kardashian? What is that? A lot of y'all white people, why do y'all talk like with this horrible fucking vocal fry? Sir, you are from Michigan. Why are you talking like that? Anyway, let me go back to the clip. I don't know. I just had to say that because the way he was talking is grinding my gears. But anyway, let's get back to it. I'm going to end my rant. Let's go back.
And then Kenya gets up and makes her whole opening about someone came after me and they shouldn't have. And I started looking into who this woman is, and this is who she is. And she starts showing pictures of her.
Or like poster board that she printed out.
And this is like
one of the pictures is
revenge
her.
porn type.
Yes.
Okay.
One of the pictures is her.
Like, oral sexing.
Yeah.
I've heard
And
that.
so, and the Atlanta Housewives are like, we're out. We don't want any. The place like clears out.
Yeah.
And then there's and Cynthia said, in all my time at the show, this is the lowest I've ever seen anything get. And so that's what, you know, and then there's a slide at the end of the show that says, Bravo, stop filming with Kenya after this.
Well, you know, they say, like, you know, there's all this talk of, you know, after the Me Too movement, it's like if you show someone a dick pic or a nude pic without them saying, yes, I would like to see that right now, that's like sexual assault.
Yes, Jordan?
Well, I was going to say, the bad part of it and the sad part of it was that, like you said, it was Kenya's opening of her store that she's worked so hard for, and that it's been Kenya Moore hair care for years. And it was like a big moment for her.
Why
and
did
like
she do that?
She should have been celebrating herself, but instead she used the time to like do revenge porn and bring somebody else down. And at the end of the day, it was such a bad look for Kenya.
Yeah, why would
and
she
she
do that?
sabotaged herself and her business.
Yeah. What was she thinking?
Jody from Minneapolis, what did you think?
Yay, hi. Also, yeah, I'm just so proud of Bravo and how they handled it, and all the housewives that left after Kenya showed it. It was so trashy, and it was so negative and ugly. And I don't know, I think a few years ago, not all the wives would have left after that, but I'm really proud that they all left. And, you know, Britt making that comment about the guns and whips, I don't know, I didn't feel like it was totally like, I'm going to go kill you, Kenya. I think it was just her talking smack, and oh my gosh, Kenya.
Okay, y'all sound so damn stupid with that. Now, I will take over Kenya in that part because I don't think it was really that serious. Yeah, okay, let somebody threaten your ass with a pistol and see if you Karens, because I'm sure that was a white woman that was on that call, would be running to the police and saying, so-and-so threatened to pow me. I need a phone restraining order. Like, we know how y'all Karens get out here and act when it come down to anybody trying to threaten your ass, whether it's a light threat or a DEFCON 5 threat. So let's not sit up here and try to pretend because it ain't happening to you that you wouldn't react the way that you reacted. As I said before, I do not agree with what Kenya did. What she did was ridiculous. She should not have taken her moment where she should be celebrating an accomplishment, an achievement that she has with her salon, and using it as a way to embarrass one of her fellow co-workers over on a TV show. There's a time and a place for that. But I feel like Kenya has been propped up by the show to always want to create these moments. And I think that's what y'all focus too much on in this show, too. Y'all want a grandiose moment because y'all know quiet as it's kept for the past couple of seasons. Real Housewives of Atlanta, which has been one of the top shows on Bravo, is just not what it used to be. Nobody cares about this show as much anymore. It is not on the radar. It is not in the pop culture zeitgeist. Also, we talked about how the ratings are falling into the toilet. So the show is not giving us what we used to like about the show. So I feel like that's another reason, another factor that's going into the situation. But some of the people jumped in the comments and said Britt should have gotten fired the second she mentioned a pistol on a professional set. Another person said, I agree, they should have never aired it. Another person says she's right though. How you going to punish someone for something that you're going to intentionally profit off of? And yeah, that's true, because it's like, yeah, y'all know I've been quiet as it's kept. Because I said from the beginning, I said they should air the stuff so that way we have an idea of what had happened, so we know the reason behind her firation. But because if y'all remove it, then it's like how y'all gonna cut around Kenya? Y'all gonna act like she didn't exist? So y'all have to show us everything. But after this, it'll go to see, like some people said, this day season finale. After now that they know what happened, they ain't watching no more. So we was all team Kenya until she did what she did. Another person, because that just wasn't the time and place. Now I will say that was good TV, but the way it all played out was like, But on the other flip side, it's like, no, that was inappropriate. That wasn't the time and the place for that. Another person said they removed her from showing inappropriate things, but replaced her with Phaedra, who accused Candy and Todd of, and y'all already know, remember, she went and said Candy and Todd was out there trying to get R-word Portia and do her in their sex dungeon. That's what Phaedra said. And they bring her ass back to the show. Another person said Kenya was wrong and went out sad. It was embarrassing to watch an OG go out like that. And child, they was going in on Dr. Heavenly too, saying that they don't understand how she up in here talking when she one of the nastiest spirits on reality TV. So of course she ain't gonna see nothing wrong, but Dr. Heavenly gets into this space where she feel like she could speak on a lot of stuff that's going on, because she another one that's messy over there, married to Madison. But before we wrap this up, I do want to point out that Kenya did clap. It's a lot of damn K's on this show. Kenya did clap back and said the following. She said the two co-hosts, in air quotes, are extremely ignorant. SA is R-word. Remember, that's what Phaedra accused Candy of attempting to do to Portia. RP, if someone showed Kim K's sex tape to you, is that RP? I found that plus tons others online. She signed a release for it, so it's fair. Receipt. Warning, if you are not an attorney and familiar with Georgia law, then STFU. I'm sure you know what that means. Sick of the bias and selective outrage. These comments should not have aired. It's a podcast. Where is legal? You don't want activated Kenya. I shouldn't have shown at my event, but for the love of God, why would they ignore a clear gun threat? Which is what she's saying, like they're hypocritical over there at the show. But you know me. So I had to put my little attorney hat on. Like I'm feeling a little Sunny Hostin today, which we're about to get into her after this story. Well, a couple of stories from now. And look, I had to Google schmoogle what is non-consensual pornography, which is another word for RP. So non-consensual pornography is when a sexually graphic image of you is shared without your consent. It's also commonly called RP. These images can include images taken during the course of an intimate relationship, including images you took of yourself and shared it with the intent to keep them private. Hidden recordings, images stolen from electronic devices, meaning phones, computers, and tablets, etc. Recordings of essays, etc. Well, that's what Austin Wolf in jail for. Recording essays, but that's of minors. And I'm not talking about the ones that be digging for, that be working for Elon Musk's daddy in the mines, where they be digging up diamonds and things. So they said this person could also be violating civil laws related to invasion of privacy, economic harm, etc. That's basically what they're saying, like, is it illegal? Now let's get to the punishment. They said in the criminal case, the first time someone is convicted of non-consensual pornography, it is considered a gross misdemeanor. If the person does it again, it will be a felony charge punishable up to 5 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. In some situations, the person can also be charged with voyeurism in the first degree, which is also a felony. If you are under 18, depending on the circumstances, the perpetrator may also be charged with crimes related to child pornography. In a case, a civil one at that, examples include claims of emotional distress, invasion of privacy, recovery of economic damages, lost earnings, and attorney fees. The perpetrator could be ordered to pay for the emotional economic damages. How much money that is will depend on the facts of your case, blah, 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 so on and so forth. So that's just a little bit of non-consensual pornography, meaning which is a fancier word for RP. Revenge porn, for those who don't know. But yeah, but I feel like, you know what, at the end of the day, to wrap this up, I feel like what Kenya did, yeah, she was wrong. Brit was wrong. I feel like Bravo panicked because of all the lawsuits that they've been getting as of late. You know, they had the Nene assault. I mean, the Nene lawsuit, not assault, the Nene lawsuit. We got one from Leah McSweeney from the Housewives of New York. There's been a lot of accusations of things going on behind the scenes. And guess what? This is you thinking that this Kenyan mess is you got to worry about. Next week on the ID channel, they got one about Bravo and all the stuff that was going on behind the scenes over there at that network. They got one of those expose. Investigation Discovery episode. They did one on the Power Rangers that just aired. They did one on Stephen Collins from Seventh Heaven. They did one on like Troubled Child Stars, and now they got one coming out next week about Bravo and all the stuff with them. So, Andy, you in danger, girl, and all you people over there at Bravo with all the mess. So I know y'all were probably just reacted because of all the stuff that was going on. So yeah, they gave Kenya the bulk of the punishment. But and another thing I don't understand, with y'all over there at Bravo, all them years you've been putting into the show, Kenya, you've been there for what, 10 seasons? Why haven't you managed to parlay this Real Housewives of Atlanta gig beyond that show? Because that seemed like that was your only source of income. Y'all should not just be relying on one source of income. And I know I would love to see her on The Traitors. I don't think she's going to be on The Traitors. But I would like to see her do some other shows. Like I would like to see her do The Traitors or Celebrity Big Brother. But I did hear that there's some work. I think Jessie Wu was out there spilling tea about the whole situation, so definitely check her out. And then there's rumors circulating that Nene Leakes may be on the 4th season of The Traitors, so that would be good, especially since she's in the good graces of the NBC Universal now. So there's that. I would like to see Kenya be on there, but I feel like that because of all of this stuff that's coming out now and how she kind of went in on the show and dragging Andy and all of them. Oh, they're telling him, well, she didn't tell him the STFU. She was talking about, because he was being very neutral Nancy about his opinion. That's because he was like, what do you think? What do you think? He didn't really give his opinion. I know, right? I know that. Like, what is that voice? But anyway, I say all this to say because it was like, yeah, I feel like I've said all I needed to say. I was trying to make sure I checked all the boxes before I moved on. So I want to hear from you all. What did you think? Did you see the episode or the clip? Because I wasn't watching the Housewives of Atlanta. I'll just be watching the clips of that drama between her and Kenya, Britt and Kenya. I watched the clip the other day because a friend of mine, Joshua Martin, posted it on his Facebook. So I was watching the whole scene. He recorded the whole thing and put it up there. And I was up there watching it and gagging. I was like, damn, Kenya, why you had to go out like that? I mean, it was good TV, but sis, you just messed up your good coin. Now, I do hope, I need y'all to fan out for me too. For those of you who are in the ATL, how is her salon or something of that nature doing? You know what? Speaking of which, you know what would have been smart? If she could have pulled the Candy Burris. If, the whole salon thing was doing what needed to be done, like how Candy had Old Lady Gang, why didn't you, you could have sold a show to the network to be like, you know what? It could be like Beauty Shop. Remember that movie with Queen Latifah and Keke Palmer? When you could have did a movie similar to, not a movie, a reality series similar to that, or like Black Ink. Like something like that. You have a bunch of people working in your salon and the drama that ensues. That would have been a cute show. I would have loved to have seen that. But it looked like we ain't never going to get it. So I want to hear from you all and your thoughts on this story. So let me know what you think of this drama surrounding Miss Kenya Moore, hair care, in the comments down below. All right, y'all. Not fake friends of Atlanta. Next time, run that by producers. They would have probably told her no. So, like, she pulled it upon herself. But I'm just sitting there like, damn, you couldn't have, like, nobody knew what was going to go down. Nobody in production was aware of all of this going down and stuff. Like, you really just had a private investigator and kept all this under wraps and just did a full, like, bombshell, bomb drop situation. I can't wait for the Hollywood Demons episode of Housewives, learning that we have people who unalive themselves in crimes like Red Rum. We have to hear from third-party sources who were there because Housewives signed NDAs. So Andy, well, yeah, and you know what the loophole is? When you have people that work on these shows that are non-union, I'm sure they're going to spill tea. Always Team Messy Phaedra, okay. Eva getting real jobs. We talking about Eva Marcel. I actually forgot she was on the Housewives. Don't ever bring up Pistol to hello. And that's why I said these white girls, y'all don't know. These white women out here trying to speak on black stuff is like, y'all don't know what the hell y'all do. I don't think she really meant it. You know this bitch. This is her first season. I don't know her. Not like that. So what you're not going to do is come up on this show and threaten me. Although I did hear somebody say that one time Kenya threatened somebody with a pistol a couple of seasons ago. I'm like, damn, y'all got some good damn memories because I ain't remember that. But anyway, let's move on, y'all. Where we going? Oh, that's about Miss Jennifer Lopez. So, are y'all about to, are y'all going to go see Miss Jennifer on tour? I don't know why I can't say that with a straight. You know what? Why do we always be throwing daggers at Miss Jennifer? I don't know. It's just, look, good luck, girl. So, look, as the saying goes, if at first you don't succeed, dust yourself off and try again. Said that. Miss Aaliyah, may she rest in peace. And it looks like Jennifer is doing just that as the triple threat is gearing up to head out on tour. So according to Billboard, they said Miss Henny from the block announced dates for her Up All Night Live in 2025 stint on Monday, April 7th, teasing an electrifying show during which she'll be performing some of the biggest hits of her career. So it's basically the This Is Me Live, the hits, but you just rejudged it and called it a Up All Night Live. Because I think like when she, remember it was This Is Me Now, people was like, girl, we not feeling this record. We ain't asked for all these boring-ass ballads. We see like the album lasted about as long as your marriage, 2 years, because it came and went like a wet fart. And now you was like, let me take a break. Let me go off, act, do other things, and then let me come back and just give y'all a tour. And now that's what she's doing. But the difference is she's only touring Europe. She's not giving America a tour because apparently Americans don't care for her music. And that's no shade. It's just proof is in the pudding. So she said, quote, to all my international J lovers, I'll be doing a few select show dates over the summer. This is what the New Yorker artist expressed in an Instagram post. I can't wait to get back out there to see all of you. It's been too long. It's going to be an amazing summer. Stay tuned for more and visit On the JLo for local venue ticketing information this week. Now the 5-date trek will kick off July 8th. Damn, why is I can't talk today? July 8th at Parque de Tafisa in Pontevedra. I don't even know how to say that, but I probably messed that up. And wraps July 16th at the Bilbao Exhibition Center in Bilbao. The Waiting for Tonight singer will also make pit stops in Cadiz, Malaga, and Barcelona that same month. Malaga, I remember that from Tu Wong Fu. It was like Topanga, Malaga. Remember that scene with the old lady and Noxeema Jackson? Yeah, I was like, I hear words and I can go right back to a whole movie where I heard certain words. But anyway, So ticketing information for the shows will be announced soon, according to press release. Now, news of the summer tour comes on the heels of Jennifer announcing her upcoming film venture, Office Romance, in which she will join forces once again with Edward James Olmos, the actor who played Selena's father, A.B. Quintanilla, in the 1997 Selena biopic, which starred the on-the-floor singer as the late queen of Tejano music. From Selena to now, this journey has come full circle. The Let's Get Loud singer caption, and then show photos of her and almost recently and then back in the day. So yeah, she's definitely gonna go out and do a show. Kicks off July 1st, ends August 3rd. So she's basically giving y'all a month basically of performing. And yeah, she's going to Abu Dhabi, she's going to Budapest, she's going to Bucharest, she's going to Kazakhstan, Madrid, Barcelona, Malaga, Vigo, so Istanbul, Antalya. So there's Chad, why I say Regnum Caria Resort Hotel? Girl, you doing casino type performances? I need to see what the size of these venues too. But look, go and get your coins whichever way you can. I do feel like, you know what, as much shade as we like to throw in for Lopez, and a lot of people like to make the Ashanti jokes and all the other stuff, you know what, she is a cute little something. I ain't gonna say she got yang. She can throw a little, her vocal. She ain't Kylie Minogue in regards to the vocal situation, because Kylie can sing her ass off. I've heard it live 4 times. Because I seen her twice the other day, as y'all know, and then I seen her twice a couple of years ago, probably 10. But anyway, so Jennifer gives spectacle, pomp and circumstance. She's a showgirl. We like the dancing, we like the hair, we like the costumes, we like all that, the showgirl of it all. And she definitely performs her ass off. So I'm not gonna take that away from Jennifer, but I need her to stick to the rivers and the lakes, which would be the dance stuff, the up-tempo things. And I hope that with her doing these shows or whatever, that she can get inspired. And if she decides to record new music, that she would take more of the international pop star direction and just make music that we all want to hear. We don't want to hear her trying to be a balladeer. You're not Mariah Carey, you're not Adele, you're not Celine, you're not Whitney. Stop trying to play in that sandbox. You fit more in the category of like a Janet Jackson, a Britney Spears, a Kylie Minogue. You're a pop star. And while these other girls, like Kylie, actually takes it beyond the whole I'm a pop star thing. Like, I'm not just a manufactured pop act. I actually put effort in what I do. I work on my vocals. I work on all these other things. You like to pose and look cute. And then, yeah, when you don't be hitting all them notes like you be thinking you do, they just put the backing track up. So, yeah, you're a little vapid, but that's what we get. We don't get deep from Jennifer Lopez. Although I will say this. I am definitely looking forward to seeing her in this Kiss of the Spider-Woman movie. So I don't know. I think that comes out later this year, and I've been hearing great things about it. So I'm looking forward to that whenever they release it. But in the meantime, I want to hear from you all, my international people. Are you guys going to go see Miss Jennifer live in concert? Because she ain't doing the U.S. I feel like we got so many people touring this year. There's nowhere, even if she wanted to do a U.S. leg, there's no way to squeeze her. Like, between who's going to be performing? Katy Perry is going on tour. Kesha's going on tour. Lady Gaga's going on tour. Beyonce's going on tour. Like, where does she fit in all of those numbers? Like, there's nowhere to slither Jennifer in between all them performers. Then Dula Peep is about to come to the U.S. Tate McRae is about to come to the U.S. Sabrina Carpenter's doing another leg of her short and sweet tour. So it's going to be crazy. There's no way to squeeze her in. So you might as well just do overseas. And Kylie's still out here touring to the end of August. Or sometime in August. All right. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. You said notice no. Okay. Did I say that? It's because nobody cares. It's not. Or do they? Or is it that Jennifer, do you think that she could still do arenas, but she would have to mostly take the Kylie Minogue approach? where she would have to do. I mean, she's international, so she has to kind of like tread lightly on which places that she will go. But in the same situation with Jennifer, do you think that she would have to do like New York, LA, DC, Chicago? If you do Texas, you would probably have to do Dallas, or I was going to say Austin, but probably not Austin. Well, I mean, there's a lot of homosexuals that live in Austin, so you might be able to do Austin, Texas. Or, but yeah, I think Dallas she would have to do like more of the city areas. Like, I can't see her doing Nashville. I cannot see her doing like Kentucky. Not Kentucky. They don't even like that. The Puerto Ricans out there, or any Latino. Or she could do Miami. She could do New York, LA. Like, she would have to pick those areas. It would have to be like a small tour. So maybe she could do it arenas. Or maybe she's got to go and start from the bottom, because you kind of just let your music career die by the wayside. You've been focused so much on the acting that you have really been focusing on the music. And so I don't feel like she's been able to transition her, but kind of like we were talking about earlier when it came to the difference between Little Kim and Nicki Minaj, that she hasn't been able to transcend her music beyond the physical media into digital age. I feel like that's the same way with Jennifer and her audience. She has not grown her audience like you get when you go see Madonna or Kylie or Beyonce. Like, there's generations of people, or Janet, or Britney even. Well, I guess not Britney so much, because she ain't really been putting out music. So her fan base is kind of like stopping at a certain point. But all the other girls we mentioned, it's like they pass the music down. They're still putting out music. And then you see different generations of people. Like, when I went to go see Kylie, there was little kids there. There was kids there. There were, of course, the homosexuals. It was like 90% gay up in there. Then there was some women. They all got dressed up and was in a shiny, regalia. The gays was all dressed up. So, yeah. So there's different demographics that show up at that event. I can't see that from Ms. Jennifer Lopez. Like, I don't see the younger generation. Like, Gen Z ain't listening to J-Lo. Maybe I know a couple of songs, but she really hasn't transcended her music to pass down, because she ain't really been putting out music. When you focus too much on the acting, then, that's what you get. I wonder if she'll not. Probably not, but I guess we'll see. I feel like what she needs to do is, I know a lot of y'all probably gonna get mad, but look, get back in the studio, make a new album. It needs to be, like I said, an up-tempo international dance record. Nothing dated like what 143 had, but you need to kind of like work with a top-notch producer. You could do like those urban, like that, give that whole urban vibe that she was doing with like Ja Rule or stuff. Kind of bring that to, wait, maybe not. Maybe she needs to leave the R&B and stuff alone. You got classics with the J-Lo remixes and stuff. You could continue to sing those, but I feel like you need more on the floors. You need more hypnoticos. Like, you need that. You need to go back to the whole, when you work with Red One, that's what you need. Not him, because I don't even know where the hell Red One is. But you need an international dance music producer that you can work with on some music. Lean into your strengths. Latin pop, dance music. That's it. Need a balance for Adele. Yes, he was my friend too. John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmitz. Okay. But anyway, let's move on. I'm tired of giving Jennifer Lopez career advice. Let's talk about The View. So there was a story that's been floating around courtesy of Rob Shooter, who I think it was on his Substack. And basically is saying that they're looking to, that Whoopi Goldberg is not as engaged with The View. So they may be looking to basically replace her with Sunny Hostin as the new moderator. Now, here's the thing. I did go on my Twitter to see if Ryan Tedder liked it. Because let me tell you, Brian Tedder, the executive producer of The View, there was a View story that I posted on my site, and he actually liked it. So I was like, let me go over there and see if he liked this one. It was like, if there be any truth, but I know it's like, he ain't like it. So I was like, okay. But I was going to check. Now, it said so the article reads as follows. It said, is Whoopi Goldberg's reign at The View quietly? Okay, that was a Freudian slip. But was it really? I said finally coming to an end. Anyway, let's start that over. So this said, is Whoopi Goldberg's reign at The View quietly coming to an end? According to multiple sources inside ABC, Sunny Hostin is being groomed to take over as the show's lead moderator, and the transition may already be underway. They said, quote, the writings on the wall, a senior show insider tells Rob Shooter's Substack. The network knows The View needs a refresh, something younger, more engaged, and more connected to the next generation. Sunny checks every box. Does she? Anyway, let's read on. So they said, while the shift isn't official yet, recent on-air moments have shown clear signs of a changing dynamic at the table. Just this week, a cheeky segment about sexless marriage led to a viral exchange between Sunny boldly asking Whoopi a risque question, and Whoopi flat out refused to answer, saying it's early in the morning, shutting down with a signature scowl, but the moment didn't go unnoticed. Well, I may have to look at that because I haven't been far behind on The View, so I haven't really been watching. But I have to definitely check that out. So it said that clip made the rounds in the building, another insider shared. Sunny was steering the conversation. Whoopi looked checked out. That's become the pattern. Well, I've been complaining about Whoopi basically checking out in the show, that she basically reads the teleprompter or her card if the teleprompter is acting up, and then pans to, kicks it off with, okay, who wants to answer? Sunny, what is your thoughts? Alyssa, what's your thoughts? Anna, what do you think? Joy, what do you have to say about the matter? Like, she basically just playing like she's playing ping pong at the table. It's like, so you're going to moderate, but you're not going to give an opinion? And then by the time they get around to Whoopi, I know she gets frustrated because by the time they get to her, and then she be saying what she's going to say, they got to cut to a commercial break because y'all spend more time selling tampons and Metamucil than actually doing the topics that people want to hear about. And I understand that y'all the number one show on TV right now. We did go over the ratings in regards of The View and how big they are in the ratings at the moment. And congratulations to them. But do I believe this whole thing about Sunny? I like you, Rob Shooter. You've been around for a long time. However, I don't necessarily know if I agree with this. No shade, but I just do not feel that Sunny Hostin, of all people, is entertaining enough to be given any kind of a baton to be a moderator. So they also said that while Whoopi remains under contract, executives are preparing for a possible transition, ones that will install Sunny as the show's new lead and public face. It says Sunny is smart, stylish, legally trained, and knows how to land a headline without losing the plot. Watch closely, it's happening in real time. Now, behind the scenes, there's frustrations that Whoopi has grown disinterested, offering little prep and phoning it in during lighter segments. They said there's affection for Whoopi. She's a legend, but legends age out, and ABC's looking at the future. And I do agree with that. If you really look at it, Whoopi is pushing 70. I believe she's like 67, 68. And that's no shade towards her age because, look, Joy Behar is 82. But the difference between Whoopi and Joy, where, like I said, Joy is literally 20 years older, give or take, in the math department from Whoopi. Joy, when she moderates every Friday, Joy is sharp, Joy is funny. Joy, even if she's not even interested in the topics that they're talking about, she seems like she's engaged or she makes it like she cares. So it's like, I'm not just going to show up to work. I'm going to read the teleprompter. I'm going to let y'all talk or whenever y'all talk about things, be it sex, relationships, or whatever thing that y'all pull off Reddit. And Whoopi sits there with her head to the side and looking bored. If y'all can move on, like it was cute in the beginning, but now it just seems like it's irritating. It's annoying. And you want to also, even if you're not interested in a certain topic that the network wants you to talk about, at least try to sound engaged. At least try to sound like you know what you're talking about. And yeah, we're not going to take away from the fact that yes, Whoopi Goldberg is a legend, but that title only gets you but so far. So I don't like the idea that they keep trying to use that as an excuse. Because I have said for the longest that yeah, she has been phoning it in on the show, and that's been one of my gripes. And even, let's not forget, Whoopi did say at one time, didn't y'all say I need to engage more, that I need to participate in the conversations more? When it was during one of the segments. And I don't know, this might have been like last season when she said that. But if there was anybody that I feel like, since I already spoke her up, if there was anybody I feel like that should step to the mantle of moderator, should Whoopi leave. And Whoopi, I don't think is going to leave because she makes like what? I believe $10 million a year So that's good money. But if you're gonna be making $10 million and sit your ass in a seat every season, 4 days a week with 3-day weekends, at least act like you give a damn about the conversation at hand. Because I'm gonna work for every bit of that $10 million that I'm making. Because that is a lot of money. And she did say on one of the times on the show that, yeah, I wouldn't be here if I didn't need the money. In so many words. So I do like I like Sunny. I like the legal smart she brings to the show. But like I said, I can't see her as a moderator. She may be, book smart. And I love intelligent women, as y'all know, based off of like some of the conversations we have on this show. However, during some of the topics, I feel like she can't be neutral in her thoughts. Now, I'm not saying that you can't be critical. What I'm basically saying is that sometimes when Sunny speaks, especially when it comes to her conservative, opinions about sex and women's right to choose and that sort of thing, she always likes to bring up, well, my Catholic upbringing and stuff, but I had to learn from Whoopi that if someone's going to make a decision to terminate a pregnancy, that is their right as a human being to be able to do that. I should not be pushing my religious beliefs or what I learned from church, whatever the case is, on someone else. It's like what Whoopi Goldberg says, and I've said this many times as well. If you are against abortion, don't have one. If you're against gay marriage, don't get married to someone of the same gender. It's that simple. And if you don't like trans people, then don't go to the doctor and get surgery to transition to the next gender. Why do you care what other people out here doing with their bodies? They're the ones that have to live whatever the decision that they make. So I don't know. And then sometimes when it comes to like sex or relationships, or if there's any stories where they do about cheating, I don't know. It feels like Sunny may be joking or whatever, but the way she be coming off on Manny and say like, yeah, he know better. Like the way they be coming like, yeah, she the strong one of the household and he basically does what she says. It might be cute or whatever, but I believe her. Like, I believe, like, yeah, she definitely be, me mugging Manny. Like, he know not to step out of line. He stands at attention when she walk in the room. Like, that's what it gives me. And there's nothing wrong with having a strong woman. But I'd be like, sis, calmate. Like, you be doing too much. So, and I don't know. I just feel like sometimes, if you feel like you're above it all, if you feel like you don't want to, participate in some of the commentary and stuff that they do on the show, then nobody's holding a gun to your head. You can leave the show at any time. You can go out there and ask one of your friends or whatever the case is to give you a movie role or whatever the case is. Like, you lost all that weight from the Manjaro. You can still be out here acting on shows and movies. I mean, you are, they said, you are a legend in the industry. You're an icon. So it's a steady gig for her, and that's why she's sticking to it. But I'm not buying this story about Sunny Hostin. Now, another thing I was thinking too, because I want to point this out, and then we can wrap this up. So now they're talking about that, yeah, they want to go younger. But here's the thing: young people are not watching The View. I mean, if y'all are, let me know in the comments. Like, my parents love The View, and I watch every now and again. One of my friends on social media, when I was talking about The View, I don't know if it was this conversation or was it? Oh, it was the one about the ratings. That their ratings have gone up, and they're the number one show in daytime. And she was like, "Oh, I be wanting to watch The View, but I don't have secular television. Like, she don't have the antenna when she watches TV." I said, "You can either watch it on Hulu, or you can watch it on YouTube." Like, they started releasing, like, you get daily episodes on The View's YouTube channel when you can watch it. The only thing is those stupid ads. It's annoying, but other than that, you can watch The View on YouTube. So you don't need, to watch it on regular TV. But I understand they're trying to gear more towards, yeah, let's get up with the times. Let's put it on a streaming service, streaming platform like a Hulu, or show it on YouTube where people can watch it. And maybe that's how young people are watching it. But the youngest person I think they have on the show is Alyssa Farrah Griffin, who I believe is 35. So I don't know if young people are watching The View. So if you're trying to go to pander to a much younger audience, I don't know if they are interested in The View, or if that type of legacy media or legacy television, kids even care about it. The younger generation, and especially even me, I watch everything online. I watch everything on social media, or I have a bunch of streaming services. So That's how I watch TV. I don't know how to work a remote control on a regular TV. All I know is I got a Roku. I have all my little streaming apps that I watch stuff on, and that's it. I could not tell you how to work a television if, you put a gun to my head. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story in regards? Do you believe that Sonny is being groomed to replace Whoopi Goldberg as the new moderator? I'm not buying it. I like you, Rob Shooter, but I'm not buying this story. But I do feel like if they were to decide on making a new moderator, if Whoopi was to sit down, you could let Whoopi sashay away. Y'all could bring in another girl to come in, much younger girl, if that's what y'all want to do, and have her be a new addition to the show. You can still keep the 6 co-hosts, but make Joy the moderator. And then who knows? But then if Joy wants to still stick with her 4 days, then y'all would have to groom and find another person to come in and moderate on, the Friday episode. And with that, they may have to go with Sonny with that. Because I can't see Alyssa doing it. I can't see Sarah doing it. And I like Anna, but Anna is too much of the comedy relief to actually be taken seriously to moderate. So I can't see that. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Probably. I can see that. I mean, she does act in a lot of ways. So yeah. She still does act. I mean, Sunny Hasa is not connected to the next generation. No. I mean, the only connection I think she would have would be her 2 kids are Gen Z. She has 2 Gen Zers. And I think they're around your age. Gabe Paloma, I believe, is like 19, 20. And then her eldest, I believe, is like 21 or 22. So yeah, they're Gen Z. So I can't see, how she would be connected to, the next generation of people. I mean, if y'all want to do a View, maybe I need to do like a different, I don't know. I just don't, I don't know what they could do with the View at this point. I was like, if they want to keep doing a rotating house of people, be my guest. They should offer a deal to the host of the, nope. After that recent interview of her and Chaperone, hell no. Alex Cooper is not a good host. Yes, I do agree with you that she definitely has the authority she has a connection of bringing a lot of celebrities and stuff on her show. I just feel like her interviewing style is just horrible. Like, I don't know what she wants to do. I don't know if she wants to be you know who did a good breakdown of this story that you should probably check out? Do you know the Swiftologist? I thought I was a girl the whole time. Swiftologist is a dude. But anyway, he did a full breakdown of that Chaperone Call Her Daddy interview, and I was like, you know what? That was my gripe with her. Now I figured out what it is about Alex Cooper that I don't like. I feel like you get these celebrities to come on y'all shows, and then when you get an opportunity to interview them, y'all don't really get to the root of the situation. Y'all would be so happy y'all sitting across from these celebrities that you don't ask the questions. Like, there were moments when Chaperone was being vulnerable, and she was talking about her disconnect from her. Well, she made a comment about her friends all getting knocked up and they around the same age, and how they live in the Midwest and they all got kids, and she don't know necessarily if they're even happy that they have children. People got pissed off about that. That is an opportunity for you to lean into that conversation. And just be like, well, why do you feel that way? And I would have debated back and forth. It's the same thing I said before, like when you had Bob and Monet and they interviewed Lizzo and she made the comment about Janet Jackson was before Madonna, and Madonna was a little girl when she was watching Janet. Mind you, Madonna is 8 years older than Janet Jackson and the same age as Michael. So I don't know how the hell she was a little kid watching Janet Jackson. And I would have been like, push back a little bit. Like, when people say stuff, you don't just let them say stuff and get away with it. It's like, I don't know if that's true. But there was one dude that was British, can't remember his name. He did an interview with Jade from Little Mix. And he was set up in a way was like he gave her a leeway of like how she could say or answer his question. It was just like, Little Mix broke up, there was some drama, whatever the case is. Tell us as much as you can about what happened in that whole situation. When you leave it open like that, that gives them the ability to feel like, okay, now I feel safe with this person. I want to be able to talk with them. I don't feel like she knows how to interview people. or show genuine curiosity when you're interviewing celebrities. Like me, if I'm going to interview somebody and we break down and have conversations about stuff, whatever the subject is, I'm genuinely curious. I would say maybe nosy, but I will fall teeter in the whole situation. I'm genuinely curious about people, which is why I talk about people on this show. So I'm genuinely curious about people. So I would want to know a lot more about them. But yeah, I mean, they can have them on as a guest co-host, but I just don't think that Alex Cooper over at Call Her Daddy would be good for that type of show, because I feel like, oh, and another thing too, she does not know how to divert from her cards. So she might be perfect for The View, because they don't know how to divert and ask questions outside of what they're being told in their ear from production, or reading off a cue card, or reading off their cards that has the notes and stuff on it. But me, I'm just like, I'm very much somebody that can go off the cuff in situations. When I interviewed Shangela's accuser, I had notes, but I mean, I had questions, but I also went off the cuff. When he went in one direction, I was like, okay, so we go in there, let's go there. And I feel like that's what you have to do. You have to leave yourself open to not just, well, oh, I have like 15 questions and now she's setting me off track. So now I'm confused and now I'm feeling a little uncomfortable. So now I got to find a way to steer it back. I'm like, look, if they want to, sometimes the best interviews are when you can just sit back, shut up, and let them talk. I'm like, you making my job a whole lot easier. My bestie calls Sunny the Whoopi because she's great at making sense of Whoopi. Yeah. Oh my God, I'm glad you said it. Am I the only one that be like, Whoopi, what the hell are you talking about? She never makes sense when she talk. I'm like, I don't know if she hide and cool to brown. I don't know if it's her strain of weed, but or maybe it's the side effects of the Manjaro. But I'm like, when she be up there talking, I'm like, what are you talking about? And they be up there, I'm like, y'all know damn well y'all don't understand what the hell Auntie Whoopi is talking about up there on that damn panel. She just be saying stuff and she thinking, just like we said, phoning it in. So that's where the phoning it in comes from. Because I be like, not you saying hell no. I be like, yeah, I don't understand. I don't, child, she be throwing, like, I just be like, what? Say what now? Sometimes Sunny's conservative background. Absolutely. Thank you. And I'm glad we agree, because you said, like, what you saying, I agree with that. I feel like, yeah, the conservativeness is basically the main bell that was going off in my head when it was about grooming her to be, no, when you are a moderator, you have to be neutral. You can give your opinion on stuff, but you gotta find that balance of being neutral. You can't just come up in there, because we know where you stand on a lot of your conservative views, and that's being a Latina growing up with that religious background. I know that world. I know what that's like. So especially me growing up Roman Catholic. So I totally get it. But thank God I didn't end up like, a lot of y'all pompous religious church freaks in that sense. So yeah, she would not be a good moderator in that sense, because I said, and Alyssa is my favorite at the table, knowing my age kids about the view. Okay, thank you. That's why I was like, younger audience. No, they've pretty much got their audience. Like, I feel like because I grew up on The View and it came out in the 90s, like I still stick with it. So I feel like it goes up to elder millennials, or maybe even millennials, because at one point, remember, they had Nutmeg McCain on there, which is the next story we're about to get into. And I feel like that's where it ends. I feel like after that, then it's like, okay, we'll see how long that The View sticks around. But then it'll die on the weeds with its audience. But yeah, I do agree. Unless it's Wendy Williams, that's the only time they're gonna be listening. Otherwise, or if it's some interesting clip that goes viral, otherwise nobody cares about The View. Mm-hmm. Oh, he lives in Singapore. I didn't know that. You said on the tag police on Instagram, where in the clip I mentioned about Madonna seeing Elton. They threw in some shade saying she snuck out after watching Pop D with Janet Jackson on TV. What TV was she on? I'll wait. Anyway, so we got 2 more topics left in today's show. So if you can, please do me a solid and hit that like button and that subscribe button. Also smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I'll be also putting in timestamps when the live is over, so that way for those of you who will be watching the playback, you'll be able to just see where all the timestamps are for whichever clip you want to watch or whichever segment you want to watch instead of going listening to all the banter that the people do in the live chat and all that good stuff. So now, without further ado, since we mentioned her, let's talk about Nutmeg McCain, who apparently did an op-ed for the New York Post, which y'all know is a conservative tabloid paper. And she weighed in on this whole, apparently, if y'all don't remember, she and Andy Cohen got into it on social media over her stance regarding trans athletes in sports. So Nutmeg has suggested talk show host Andy Cohen might no longer be a friend after the TV host called her out on her stance on trans inclusion in sports. Now, shout out to Pink News for this story. Now, in a piece for the New York Post, the blogger and daughter of Republican presidential nominee John McCain and board-certified political Nepo baby, we should put that in there as well, she said that she and Cohen always had a very nice, cordial, respectful, and I believe actual friendship, and said that because I appeared on his show many times over the years. Yet, he decided to attack me publicly and cause a storm in the process. My phone immediately started exploding. I didn't stop for a few days. The story was covered in entertainment and political spaces, and I was made out to be a villainous figure who hated the LGBT community. Well, bitch, if the shoe fits, then wear it, okay? Because here's the thing that a lot of you snowflakes need to realize. You can have your opinion on things. Your opinion was not correct, though. Because this whole thing started from this girl by the name of Peyton McNabb, who was a former high school volleyball player who was injured during a match in which she played against a trans athlete. But here's the thing. You get many injuries in volleyball, and not every volleyball match has a trans girl on it. So she's sitting up in there saying, oh, because this trans girl was playing volleyball against me, that all her testosterone wasn't gone, because this is basically what it's given. And you know me, I'm not going to come up in here unfiltered, be filtered out. And I'm going to say it the way they thinking it. She's thinking that's a man up there with all the women, that she ain't full of estrogen. She had a little bit of testosterone in her situation, and then hit me so damn hard. Now I'm all messed up. And, they play into this narrative. Meanwhile, we got way more fish to fry, that we got, way more things to worry about in regards of this idiotic president and what he's doing, but distracting y'all with trans athletes and immigrants are coming to take your jobs. So I'm waiting for all you white people that's mad. When y'all going to start going out in them fields and picking them fruits and vegetables? When y'all gonna start cleaning them, picking up them jobs at certain establishments where y'all gonna be being bathroom attendants and things of that nature? And if y'all feel like that's a stereotype, it's not, because a lot of people who are immigrants take those jobs because they can't get no other job outside of those certain jobs that a lot of y'all ain't lining up to do. So it's not a stereotype. There's always a little truth in stereotypes, and I know the truth hurts. I'm not saying all Latin people. But for the most part, when you get a lot of immigrants in this country, they're doing the job that a lot of you snowflakes refuse to do. So your real argument need to be with a lot of these corporations that are outsourcing a lot of their jobs. And child, the latest story that came out today, since you want to sit up here and talk about trans people, they talk about Hollywood might be the next to suffer, because China talk about not even allowing any of our American movies to even play in their theaters over there. And we make a shit ton of money from China when it comes to a lot of our global box office, particularly when it comes to Disney. So that's what they're saying, that they're about to get hit next because of these stupid tariffs. That's the latest story. So yeah, but the question remains, was Nutmeg ever really an ally? Because I tell y'all before, I remember back in the day before Nutmeg went on The View, I actually liked her. She had a show on Pivot. She did seem like she was more of like, she was a Republican, and we always, when I was growing up, I was always taught Democrats bad, Republicans good. Now I know the real story. They both, both parties are two sides of the same coin. Quiet as it's kept. The Republicans are way worse, but Democrats ain't no angels either. But when it came down to it, when I wasn't that politically plugged in, I was like, oh, look at this young girl on here. She seems like she's a Republican, but she's way more progressive in a lot of her political beliefs. And that made me like her. Until she went and got her big old wide back ass over there at The View and started showing out. And then I'm looking at her like, this girl's a hot ass mess. I don't like her. She's insufferable. She's disrespectful. She's got a nasty attitude. And her husband is way worse. Is the Federalist still around? Do people still read that? The inquiring minds want to know. So yeah. So then she went to Twitter and said the following. She said, I have the pleasure of meeting Peyton. She's incredibly smart, strong, and brave. Well, apparently she wasn't that damn strong because now she's talking about how she got taken out by a trans woman while playing basketball. So where's the strength, sis? Now, she said both she and her family have been through the unthinkable. Now, Democrats defending young women suffering from traumatic brain injuries as a result of trans athletes is why they will continue, which is misinformation. So, and then you had Donald Trump using her as a prop at his, State of the Union address. Not only that, but when you out here cutting cancer research, especially for kids, and then you propping up that little black child, like we about to reenact the circle of life, and you had little Simba being held up, and people can talk about, well, they didn't want to clap for the little kid at the camp. I'm like, really? This is the political, BS this is the game that we're playing? Knowing full and well that that man and that idiot over there that's running Doge cut funding for cancer research. There wasn't there a story that just came out, I think, yesterday or the day before, about that they may have found a cure for AIDS out in Africa, that they've been doing some type of tests, and the animals have become immune to the HIV and all this other stuff, and then now they've cut funding for that. So this man wants all of us to die. That's what I truly believe. So Andy went on and said, surprised you're buying into the validation of the trans community given the real problems happening in this country, your previous allyship of the LGBTQ community, and the fact that this non-issue affects about 4 people in this country. Because it ain't that many trans athletes out here, but y'all want to take something where it's like, what, less than 10 trans athletes is actually competing? Y'all want to make that a bigger issue than what it is. And then she plays into it because Nutmeg needs the attention. Quiet as it's kept. Ain't nobody been Nutmeg name ain't been on the tip of nobody's tongue since she was, well, she said she left, so I will guess we'll go along with that, since she left The View. So, a lot of y'all like to piggyback off of this stuff just to rile people up and to get attention, and that's what she's doing. And my thing is this, you may be an ally, you may come across and play all the games or whatever, but this is why I always say I don't fool la with certain fish, because a lot of times at the end of the day, y'all sit up in there and y'all want to kiki with the gays. You want to act like y'all our friend, but if you come out y'all face towards the community in certain situations, I don't agree with you on that. And I don't give a good goddamn we friends or not. If you are a cisgendered woman and you have a problem with trans people who are part of the T in LGB motherfucking T, then yes, I'm going to read you. I'm going to call you out. And if that affects our friendship, oh well, I've lost friends before. I could lose a couple of more. So, oh, I'm a poet and I know it. But yeah, I'm just like, so what, as friends, I'm supposed to just let you say what the hell you want without pushing back? That's not a real friend. I'm not just going to let you sit up here and disrespect trans people, especially if I'm friends with a lot of trans people, and just let you just rock with what you're saying. And it's just supposed to be okay. But that's the problem with Nutmeg and people like her. They're so used to just being able to say whatever the hell they want and doing whatever the hell they want without any kind of consequence. They want to just be able to say stuff out here without any rollback. And yes, you knew that shit was going to be controversial. Just like when you got that old long-jawed heifer, J.K. Rowling, because I knew that bird was coming. Well, her transphobic rhetoric. And didn't John Oliver just read her recently? He said that she probably think he Harry Potter. That's why she keep trying to come. I said, well, you kind of do look like an older Harry Potter. No shade, but John Oliver kind of reminds me of Milhouse from The Simpsons. But anyway, so there was that. I want to say if there's anything else that we need to add. And then she said that, you have my cell number. Always, he could have called her. But I'm like, you posted it on social media. Why the hell I got to call you to be like, now you was dead wrong with what you said? She also went and said that this is a lose-lose culture war for Democrats. Say, I would never understand why they want to die on this hill. They claim it affects such a small number of people, but that argument also works in reverse. But here's the thing. If you really looked at Kamala Harris' campaign, where in her campaign did she mention trans people? She didn't. So while Kamala ain't perfect in a lot of the certain policies or whatever the case that was, she would have been a way better choice than what we got. And now we got to sit here and suffer for 4 years. And I'm sure when them 4 years is done, it's going to be a lot of cleaning up the next administration is going to have to do after this idiot. And that's only because, Dr. C now talking about that he going to be the president forever. I don't think that's going to happen because there's only been so much these people going to take before that rock bottom hit. And they're going to be like, you already did your time. Get out. Go somewhere. Go play in traffic. I don't care where you go. Just you ain't staying up in this damn White House. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story in regards of what Nutmeg McCain had to say? I was not going through that whole story of what she wrote in that op-ed because I could care less of what she had to say. But yeah, if you're gonna sit up there and say, if you're gonna say something that I don't agree with, and especially when it comes, this is why they always say don't talk religion and don't talk politics because it ruins friendships. And with this current administration, you know how many people have had falling out with friends, relationships, relatives because y'all going so hard body for Trump. And you can believe whatever you want to believe, but now it's at this point that when you align yourself with Trump, it just gives you're a racist, you're a misogynist, you're a homophobe, you're a transphobe. You just don't like anybody that is othered. You have a problem with that because that's what he's standing on. And now, with all this crap going on, did them price of eggs drop yet? I'm still waiting to hear if y'all been able to afford y'all groceries since he's been the president. And it's about to get worse because when them tariffs start kicking in, everything's going to be double the price. So if you plan on getting a vehicle that is like, what, 80 million? I mean, 80 million. 80,000. Can you imagine an $80 million car? An $80,000 car, or whatever the case was, it's going to be double that. If you pay $8 for a grocery, like that's what I'm worried about, the meat. Because I'm like, if I'm going to spend $8.99 for like a slab of ribs, and then all of a sudden it's gonna be pushing damn near $20. We gonna riot. So I want to hear from y'all in regards to this story. So let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. Okay. We said, I remember when The View had musical guests and movie stars. I miss those. I miss when they have the musical guests. The only time it seemed like they have musical guests, well, they have it every now and again, but it feels like mostly they only have musical guests when it's like it was somebody's birthday. It seems like the only time when they do musical. They need to bring that back. There needs to be more musical guests. Like, why don't y'all have Chaperone perform? That would get the young girls to be watching. Y'all used to do that stuff. Now it's not so much fun anymore. Now they always it's all about political stuff and Donald Trump. That's all they focus on and view your deals. And they do have actors and stuff come on, but a lot of the actors they've been having on as of late, I'm like, I don't care. The only time they had an actor on that I was like, okay, I was really excited was when Daredevil Born Again was being promoted and they had Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio on. That was the last. Oh, and when they had even though the show was terrible, when they had the Vern Cox on and they had on the comedian that plays her father. Madonna was 19 in New York when Janet was on. When Janet was on Hood. What is that? What was that? Fame or Good Times? Oh, you said Good Times. Busy trying to survive and making music. Madonna said it best. TV is garbage and for the not so intellectual. Yeah, because the funny thing is, well, yeah, I told y'all when I was growing up, I used to read the encyclopedia cover to cover because I was always grounded. So I didn't really watch a lot of television. So I had to use my imagination. I read a lot of books. I did watch TV for the most part, but not a lot of television and a lot of movies and stuff. But yeah, I do agree with that. It's like, yeah, I mean, it depends on what's on. Like TV, it's like a good escape, but people who allow TV to babysit their kids, yeah, that's problematic. Not too much with the microaggression. It's a, I'm just quoting what Madonna has said. She was never. When you talking about the micro, oh, you talking about the hood thing? I think he meant. I think he made a mistake where he meant to say good times, but not hood. Because yeah, when you said hood, I was like, wait, you talking about Janet Jackson was in the hood? I mean, I don't believe that. They lived in that little house in Indiana, so she was never in the hood. I hate the fact that I think Republicans are going to be in this. Well, the way everybody out here fighting, I don't see that happening. Like people said, she's too hateful, unlike her dad. Yeah, not me again. Well, you know, I call her nutmeg because the bitch is crazy. They said Meghan is one of those straights who thinks her love of drag. That part, because you know, these are the she gives me like shallow ally teas. Like you like being around the safe homosexuals, like Andy Cohen. And you think, yeah, because I watch RuPaul's Drag Race. Oh, look, I like gays. I like Drag Race. Like, you think that's all our community is? A bunch of damn people competing on a drag show? Like, there's so much more to being a homosexual than having a friendship with Andy Cohen or watching a bunch of drag queens performing on a reality competition show. But she definitely gives me that. Like I said, shallow homosexualities. It said, or allies. Meghan claims, I don't think she does. I wouldn't be surprised if her ass and her wider back husband voted for him. Yeah, she always jumping on the bandwagon. And especially, you know, with the stuff he said about her damn father. Yeah, Captain Bone Spurs made them those anti-military to my that if I was in his position, I would have got caught or something or another. Meghan claims that, yeah, so I don't believe, I don't know, because I'm like, anybody that disrespect my father, I'm not giving you no leeway. But it definitely feels like that, you know, she just says whatever for clickbait because she knows she likes the attention. Oh, my phone blow. She intentionally let it be known that was like, yeah, my phone was blowing up in that whole situation. They was up, you know, ever since he said what he said, everybody was calling me. Who's everybody? Lauren Boebert, was she on the line? Laura Ingraham and that long, strong ass jaw. Why all these girls over there at Fox News? They all got strong jaws. Laura Ingraham, J.K. Rowling. I mean, even though she's just J.K. Rowling, but they all got those mannish looking features. I think it's like that's why y'all don't like the trans because y'all got y'all low key be getting called men. So that's why y'all be hating on the trans. Politics reveal their true selves. Exactly. And in the darkest of times, people show their true colors, which is why I was getting into a debate about people saying, like, yeah, everybody's talking about this stuff in politics, which was in one of my comments that I posted about Cory Booker. But it's like, who do you see as I don't see anybody. I'm like, who's really stepping up to the plate? I know everybody said it's too early. And no, I'm sorry. But with everything that's going on, it wasn't too early for Trump to be out here with his, you know, wrecking ball to be dismantling everything 2 months into his presidency. So how was it too early for a Democrat to actually step up and not grift and go where the wind blows? Like the Gary Newsoms, like the Chuck Schumers, like the Fettermans. In the darkest of times, that is when you're supposed to stand up, not when things is comfortable. So the only ones that I say that have really been out here that is Maxwell Frost, AOC, who I hear is actually surging past Schumer. They want her to replace Schumer. And I'm like, I'm here for it because his old ass need to go. So I can definitely see that. It said people who usually say, why must we bring politics into this are the most guilty because they know deep down policies they believe are wrong and can harm us. I was having a conversation with some friends, some coworkers yesterday when we worked the Trump rally, and they told me something. I think my experience was way different than theirs because I told her I had no issues with a lot of the Trump supporters. I was even having a good old time with some of the people that was up in there. Like we were having a full-on conversation. Maybe they see me differently because of my complexion and I'm male. So I didn't have no issues, but my coworkers who are Black females, told me something different. They were sitting there telling me, like, one of the girls was like, kept asking, or someone was asking, do you like his speech? Like, do you like, are you, looking for reassurance? And then one person she said one person even had the nerve to bring up Candace Owens. Well, Candace Owens agreed on said, child. Now, that's where the racism come in. Because now you bringing up Candace Owens and thinking that just because Candace Owens is out here grifting and agrees with Trump, and because she wants that, assimilation to whiteness, and being in close proximity of it by laying down and spreading her legs with a white man and having 4 children with him, that we all think like that. We're all not a monolith. So maybe me having to really come to that realization, I'm like, damn, I didn't even have that type of experience. And it's probably because maybe people see me differently, especially as a light-skinned person of color. Whereas when I look at other people, I never know their experience until we have a conversation. And I'm like, damn, that's just fucked up that people would say that to you, or people would even bring that up. That really irritated me yesterday when she told me that. Oh yeah, you were saying, because I was like, sometimes, Robert be out here typing quick. So, there'll be some misspellings, but I don't know, my brain is wired away. Maybe I got a dyslexic brain. Like, I'll be knowing what you mean when you write stuff. Most of the time. You said Madonna says she liked Game of Thrones. I mean, that was a good show. I need a bell so I can just start ringing it and say shame. But yeah, Game of Thrones was a good show. I was thinking about rewatching it. House of the Dragon I've kind of been disappointed in, but I love Game of Thrones. Kamala's staying away from that part. Pushed. Well, damn, you like censoring yourself. But y'all can read it. Yeah, she didn't really. I feel like a lot of times she didn't really stand on anything. But then she goes up on this in this recent speech. But I ain't gonna say I told him so. Well, you really ain't say shit. Quiet as a cat. That's why the Democrats lost. Y'all were trying to play a safe game. Then you had the sabotage of the people in your campaign, and Biden pretty much treating you like Trump treating JD Vance. He basically kept you in the closet majority of of his presidential reign, because he didn't want to be outshined by this black woman or this woman of color. Because a lot of y'all be getting mad when you say she brown, right? She damn sure ain't white. Because if she was a white woman, people would have voted for her. I really hope she's not the I don't want Newsom either. And based off of the people that he's been having on his podcasts, I think it would be a bad idea if he ran. J.K. Rowling slammed asexuals, saying people who hate sex, there should be... Who's fucking her? Who in their right mind and in all sensibility is fucking J.K. Rowling? Or would want to? That old dry puss. Ain't nobody trying to stick their dick up in that. Child, you better make sure that shit is well lubricated. Cause she give me full sandpaper puss. That's what she give me. Like, that shit is drier than the Sahara Desert. Or the dunes in Doom. But anyway, let's move on since we busy talking about trans people. And let's keep it going. Hold on. I thought I wasn't even prepared to do my proper transition. That was a good transition though. But now I done messed it up. But anyway, it's a live show. So now let's get to our final topic and let's talk about Lee Daniels allegedly working on a new show with T.S. Madison. Now, I have heard T.S. bring this up in conversations that, there is a show in the works that Lee Daniels is going to develop a show based around her life. So according to Out, because they wrote the story, so shout out to them, known for her transparency and larger-than-life personality, T.S. Madison will bring her incredible journey to life on the small screen. The biopic is expected to chronicle her life from childhood through her years in sex work. She shared, Lee Daniels is working on my biopic. It's going to be a series. So all those wild stories when I used to tell on the Lipton Tea Hour, when I used to sit back and talk about my life, we're going to be expounding on that. Now, Madison emphasized the significance of having Lee Daniels, a queer man, or as I like to call a homosexual, lead this project, saying, quote, I'm proud to give it over to him because he's a queer person, and I wanted it to be told by a queer person. This marks Daniels' continued exploration of compelling narratives, as he previously produced the 2021 Hulu original film, The United States versus Billie Holiday. He also was behind Empire. And one of the things I like about Lee Daniels is that a lot of his stories come from like a real tortured place, especially surrounding Black people. So I definitely think this is a good idea to have him behind it. And also he did like Star, and a lot of people live for that show, but I felt like Star was a little too, they really couldn't go there with a lot of the subject matter because it was network television. But I feel like if Star was, or even Empire, was on like a streaming service or something or another, I feel like the show would have done way better on cable or a streaming service. Don't like I want it to kind of be gritty in a way that's similar to P-Valley. Like I want that kind of vibe. Like that's what I'm thinking when I'm thinking about a T.S. Madison type of series. And when you look at someone like a T.S. Madison who started up in sex work and doing what she had to do to survive and then becoming like this big viral sensation, 22 inches a week, like, you know, on Vine, and then she graduated into doing like the YouTube, and then she's got Fag Talk now, and then she had the show with Kaya. I don't think they're gonna go into all of that. Maybe they will, but now look at her. It's like she's become like this big superstar. So they said, by the way, that the biopic is in its early stages, but Maddie and her team are diligently assembling, like the Avengers, a diverse group of storytellers, saying, we've been vetting writers, and we have a great writer. She's a cis woman and a former sex worker. I don't want to reveal her just yet, but I'm so proud that she's part of the project. I wanted all areas of Black to be involved in this. I wanted to be a Black woman. I wanted to be a Black man. I wanted to be queer people. I wanted to be trans people. I wanted this because that's the only way that you'll be able to accurately tell a story as if all the people are involved. And you want to know something? Her approach is brilliant, because I feel like I would have done the same thing. Like I've told her, or maybe I haven't told y'all, but I've had many a fantasy in my mind that is like, as much as I like being a personality and being on camera and all those other stuff, I would love to also create stuff for other people. So I would love to assemble a team of writers who come from all different backgrounds, because you can't just have, and that's what I always feel like is the problem with a lot of these network shows. You always want to put white people or cis people in a situation, and a cisgendered heterosexual person cannot write for gay people. A white person cannot write from the experience of a Black person. If you're going to do something where it's in the wheelhouse of T.S. Madison, you bring that writer that has sex. She may not be trans. She may be a cis woman, but she used to do sex work. So she understands that world. So you want to bring a sex worker in so that way they have their perspective, and whatever their story was of the time that they were a sex worker, you can incorporate that into the T.S. Madison character or a fellow character that you're going to bring into the show that's also a sex worker. So that's what you do. And then you bring the queer perspective, which is you have the Lee Daniels, where he could bring like his little sassy one-liners, or you could bring whatever his experience growing up as a gay man. He can incorporate that in certain stories as well. That's what you do. We want the diversity. We want those things. And if you build it, they will come. So if there's going to be people out here that's going to get mad over something new and different and fresh, don't watch it. But I'll definitely be watching it when y'all develop it, because I feel like at this point, we probably won't be getting this show until probably like 2026, which is fine. But I feel like in these dire times, especially with the type of administration we have now, we definitely need more trans stories out there, especially trans people of color. And I hope it ends up on a streaming service so I could definitely check it out, because this is not a show that could be on a CBS or an NBC or a Fox or even a CW. It needs to be on like a Hulu or a I was gonna say Netflix, but Netflix, the way y'all be treating y'all programs sometimes, it irritates me. Y'all just want to dump the whole show on a network and then just be like, binge it. If y'all could do a weekly situation, I would be here for it. Don't go to Stars, because I don't know anybody that watch Stars outside of Power. Or whenever P-Valley come to freak back. They also said in other, Maddie news that I should point out, like this is her only project that she has coming out. She's also partnering with World of Wonder, because she is a judge over there at Drag Race, to create a candid documentary about the T.S. Madison Starter House, which just opened, and it opened on Trans Day of Visibility, which was the other day. Now it's I think it was, what was it, April 1st? And its first group of trans women residents saying, "I share my vision for this project with World of Wonder. I don't want to see black skin tearing each other apart." Now you can see that over there on Ray J's streaming service. I mean, is that even still around? Dosh or whatever the hell it's called. Remember when they had that old baddies show with the trans girls? So anyway, she said, "I share my vision for this project with World of Wonder. I don't want to see black skin tearing each other apart. We already have enough of those shows. When these women enter the house, I want to focus on their coming out stories. I envision something akin to soft white underbelly. I understand some may find this approach dull, but that's perfectly fine." No, I love stuff like that. I don't feel like we always need to have the only way that we support or celebrate things, or the fact that we should just always be so grateful to see ourselves on TV, is when we're fighting each other or we're beating each other down. There's enough of that on television. Like she said, we need that proper representation. And y'all may find that dull, but I'll definitely be watching when it pops up on Wow Presents Plus, because I'm sure that's where they're going to put it. And the thing with Wow, they need to diversify their portfolio. Yeah, they have the drag race stuff on there, but they have some other relatively interesting shows on there as well. So why not diversify your show? Who knows? WoW may get to a place where they don't even need these networks anymore, and they could start putting all the drag races on that streaming service and just charge people a fee, and they'll make their money that way. I don't know if that'll ever happen, but fingers crossed. Unless y'all just feel like, you know what, with MTV, funding the show, it allows, the big budgets and all that other stuff. But they also said that she could be seen as Daga on Netflix's Tyler Perry Beauty in Black. I've never seen that show. I've been wanting to see it, but I haven't. I definitely need to check that show out. Her impressive resume also includes appearances in the film Zola, BET's The Miss Pat Show, Bros, and Hush. She could also be seen Friday nights on RuPaul's Drag Race, the rotating judge. And look, we've already known, like, if you follow Maddie, if you're part of the Maddie mob, if you watch Fag Talk, if you've been following Maddie over the years, she has basically mentioned many a times that this was something that was in the works. But I'm just actually glad that it's finally coming to fruition. I'm glad that Maddie is finally getting her flowers. And I also feel that, you know what, at the end of the day, she is definitely an inspiration for QPOC performers who come from nothing, and basically shows that, you know, if you out here and you just be your authentic self and you push hard enough, you work hard, you too can, and you hustle hard, that you too can end up being where Maddie is. So congratulations to you, Maddie. I'm definitely proud of your accomplishment and where you are in this whole situation. I can't wait to see the show, because I hope that, my aspiration is to get where she is and be able to have the platform, the bigger audience, still be myself, but still have the bigger audience, and to also get to a place where I can create shows and opportunities for the next generation of people, in the content space, or even a reality TV show competition type something, or another, or even original scripted programming. Like, those are the things I definitely have always dreamed of developing. So I'm putting that out in the universe, because I always say, and that usually happens with me, whenever I put that energy out in the universe, it usually happens. So I want to hear from you all. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Like you said, this is old news to me. That's why I said we all knew about this, but I'm just glad that it's confirmed by Out and all the other big conglomerates. I watched Star when it premiered. I got bored and stuff. Yeah, I just hope the show won't be boring. But look, if Maddie is basically, if they're assembling a dream team of writers and stuff, I love watching soft white underbelly interviews. I'm bored of the baddies. Yeah, I agree. Like, I like a lot of those shows where it's just like she said, soft white underbelly. I don't think everything needs to be about, fighting and drama and all other stuff. Sometimes I like all that positive. Like, everything don't need to be negative. So it's like me. I don't even watch like baddies and stuff. Like, I know I have friends that watch that. I'm like, I feel like I don't even watch Love and Hip Hop. I haven't watched that in like years. I just feel like I've outgrown that sort of drama. Even like with the Real Housewives of Atlanta, when I was just recently talking about that, I was like, okay, the clip was enough. I just got so bored. Like, I just don't care about that type of stuff. Maybe it just comes with, like, when you've seen enough of it, it's like you just get bored and you age out of it. Do you believe that queer and non-queer, and non-white writers can believe be right, straight, and or white characters? Yes, and I think it's because as queer people and as white and non-white people, we've always been indoctrinated with a lot of their stories. So we can see things in different perspectives because we had to be aware of it. Queer people have to be aware of heterosexuality. Black people and people of color have to be aware of whiteness. So therefore, we understand that perspective because we have to be observant of everything. White people don't have to worry about other things. They don't have to worry about black people. They don't have to worry about gays. They don't have to worry about trans. They don't have to worry about all those other things because it doesn't affect them. So that's why they can't write from our perspective, unless you're someone who is genuinely curious, I guess, about, stuff. Yes, I will, and I believe it. Believe it, receive it. Let's make it happen. The universe is rigged in your favor and not the odds. I got my own drama. I don't need to watch other. Okay. That part. Well, Ryan Murphy did do 3 seasons of Pose. I mean, he did do 3 seasons of Pose. He was a producer. I don't think he was as hands-on as like American Horror Story and all those other stuff. That was more or less left up to Stephen Canals, I think is how you say his name. And then Janet Mock. So they had other people that were really involved, far more involved in Pose than Ryan Murphy. I think people are more familiar with Ryan Murphy because he's like the biggest name that's a part of it. And I think that maybe Ryan Murphy being Ryan Murphy is the only reason why the show got made. Because I feel like if it was anybody else, they probably wouldn't have touched it. But because of Ryan Murphy and who he is and the pull that he has in the industry, yet unfortunately, it took a white man to get Pose made. But I do agree. One of the things I'm still mad about is that we only got 3 seasons of Pose. We should have had more than 3 damn seasons. I could have sworn they said they were going to do more than 3, but it was probably FX. I was like, y'all could have gave us an even 4. But that last season felt rushed. That was another irritation for me too. But anyway, y'all. All right, y'all. So we're at the end of today's show. Please, if you have not already, do me a solid, hit that like button and that subscribe button. Also, smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I want to thank all of you that were in the chat with me today, in the live chat, Keegan, all those that were also responding to the topics at hand. I will be back on tomorrow with some more messy news and things of that nature. And so, yeah, love you all for watching. Thank you all for tuning in. And until next time, ciao, darlings.